We start again? Now this CCE, the implication of CCE on school education is very encouraging in the sense that we are in India, we are moving towards global school education, and whenever any new change is implemented, it has its good and as well as some weak points, but we at the school level are finding this new change very challenging, as well as it has brought in newness, brought in enthusiasm amongst the children as well as the teachers. Otherwise, the education at school level had become quite a mundane affair, with just rote memory and school exams going on and promotions taking place. But I am very happy as an educationist that now we are all swinging to make our children into wholesome personalities, looking into all aspects of their growth. The CCE reforms have been implemented.
And how technology can further improve CCE?
How?
Technology, role of technology.
Now, the technology, of course, these days is playing very vital role. It has become a rather, it is a technological world, and the new schools which are coming up are comparatively better equipped than the schools which are there since last 50 years. Their infrastructure is a little bit on the older side, but we are all trying to upgrade the infrastructure in the existing schools too, by bringing in smart class, and there are many agencies which are helping us in upgrading our schools. But the new schools which are coming up, they are totally being constructed as per what the need is.
Ma'am, how equipped are the teachers to handle?
Teachers, I would again say that the teachers are more or less equipped, but some changes are there, and definitely they are all working very hard, and it is it's a big change. Even for the teachers, I think I would be very plain about it, that the teachers are working very hard, and they're trying to understand the concept, and they have understood also, because this is the second year now of the reforms. Sorry. The creative teachers have really appreciated the change, and they are themselves enjoying their teaching learning. But everywhere, in every field, there are some people who take time to change. So they are finding that the burden, they call it burden, whereas I say as a principal, it's not a burden. We can say that a commitment has become fourfold now. But it is always, change is always welcome. Change is always welcome.
Thank you so much. In your opinion, are the implications of implementation of continuous comprehensive evaluation on the school system in India?
This is a very good system which has been implemented by our minister, and CBSE is playing a vital role in this. And by this system, the teachers and the students, they all are very happy, and especially the students, because the teachers are judging a lot of parameters. It's not only 5 subjects. Along with the 5 subjects, they are judging, they are checking, they are helping the students to improve other areas. So in my opinion, the CC is very good, and in my school, the students are getting a lot of benefits. Yes, by this. And a lot of students, they have shown very good improvement in this, in other areas also, because teachers are helping them to improve further. Yeah.
So how technology is playing a role in furthering this?
Actually, still it's in a very preliminary stage or elementary stage. No doubt, technology is going to play a very important role in this. But first of all, teachers should be well trained to use the technology. And once they are very much familiar with the technology, certainly technology is going to help a lot. For example, I can take my example. I am very good in these technologies related to the computers. I am very good in computers, so I am helping my students and my computer teachers. They are helping my teachers in getting a lot of material for their teaching learning process. And that's why they are always in the search of some good things. And especially in the CCE, a lot of flexibility is there. It's not a foundation for them. So they are searching a lot of material from internet, this here and there, and surfing the nets. But again, the thing is, teacher should be well versed with the use of technology. Then only he can utilize. Otherwise, it's of no use. So they should be given a proper training. So I will suggest this in future CBSE should organize these types of program where technology is going to be merged here in a, I can say, larger scale. No doubt schools are doing at their own level, but if CBSE is asking, if CBSE is doing, then everybody is going to get this thing. Yeah.
What are your views on right to education?
It's again a very good act, or you can say, in this at least everybody is getting an education at a very, you can say, free of cost rather, I should say. Even in the public schools, a lot of students from the underprivileged, they are going to get the admissions. And at least they will get the exposure of good public schools. Otherwise, it's very difficult for the parents to take the admission or afford the fees. So at least they are getting good. So certainly the future of India is going to improve by these types of things. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful system, and we've given it a new name now, but it is something that has always been an integral part of our teaching learning process, an integral part of our teaching since a number of years from the beginning in any school system, and now more so because we've put it into practice and we have started implementing it at the grassroots level as well. Because now even the parents would know what their children are doing both at scholastic and post-scholastic level. We're grading them for almost everything. However, if you ask me as a parent, it is something different that they would perceive. They started feeling now that perhaps there is more burden on the child. However, as a teacher, if you ask me, I think it is something wonderful for children because they now are not being graded for an exam that happens at the end of the year, or for one exam that happens in one term, but they get an opportunity to be graded for n number of activities, and they're assessed throughout the year for not just for a pen and paper test, but for even their other talents that they have, right? And I think it takes a holistic approach of the child and an overall development of the child, and the teacher needs to know the child more closely. Now there is a limitation to this. Implementation at grassroots level, if we are able to do, is wonderful. But in India, it is happening in a better way in schools where the number is limited, where the student-teacher ratio may be, say, something between 1:15 or 1:20, but where a teacher is catering to larger groups, it is not very practical. I am myself teaching senior students, but just to find out how we can implement CCE, as being even the head of the department, I specially took class 10 to teach and see how we could implement CCE. And I personally felt, even when I'm conducting an FA activity, even for a single period, for one class where I have a strength for 49 students, it is practically not possible to be able to assess each child. That becomes my limitation. Now I want to see each and every aspect of the child, how the child develops skills to draw the diagram or to prepare the slide, maybe in science. But how far is it practically applicable to each child, each student, So then these are some of the limitations. Now if in a term we are trying to grade the child again throughout, we are saying it's a continuous comprehensive evaluation system. If you ask the parent and the child, he might start feeling that now throughout the year I'm being pressurized. There is stress because throughout the year I'm working. For those children who were perhaps not working throughout the year and thought maybe at the end of the year one performing in one test was doing it all and I was doing well. Now why should I be working throughout the year? So, there are different approaches to this. However, it still puts the child in a framework of working in a continuous manner, learning for the sake of learning and not vomiting at the end of the term in one exam. So if we see from that point of view, I think it's an excellent system, and we've all been doing it. But only if we can limit the numbers and a teacher is able to cater to a smaller group, she can be more effective and not bring about just, teaching through a lecture method, but she can ensure that learning is actually taking place. That is what is happening, and that's important.
Okay, so how technology can further the...
See, technology can further this. Say, for example, if I need to teach a particular topic and I want that if I have only a limited time period for that, then I can go in for digital learning, I can go in for PowerPoint presentations, I can involve children in trying to tell them, divide them into groups and ask them to prepare some kind of presentations which can be shown in the class. Now this I can ask children in trying to even, develop life skills like teamwork by dividing them into groups and making them work into groups. At the same time, asking them to collect information through, doing Google search, collecting information, collating it, and then sharing it in the class. So the same time with the teacher is using to teach something through a lecture method, effectively through digital learning or through using technology in the class, if you have smart boards like most of the schools have. But not all schools in India would be having that kind of a facility. Now, even if you have a simple computer or a laptop, and if you have a, say, LCD projector, you can be very effective in your teaching. You can reach to a larger group. You could have a larger group that you could address to, and that time of teaching is cut down, and your goal, your aim is achieved.
Right. So, how equipped do you think teachers are to handle the technology related?
Well, I think most of the teachers are equipped, trained, because I don't know about most of the other schools. There are so many in-service teachers training programs that are being conducted by CBSE, by NCERT, and we know about DPS Society. They conduct a number of in-service teachers training program, and on a regular basis, teachers are being trained, and so that they are able to handle these kind of demands of the students. Students are very bright. They are more aware, so it's not like a teacher has to be just an instructor, as well said by one of our guest speaker today this morning. You have to be a facilitator. You have to help children to use the talent that they have, the information, the knowledge that they have, so that they can use it for learning process. And learning is always a give and take process in the classroom teaching that takes place nowadays. So teachers are trained. However, in the new scenario, we have also seen there is a limitation that not many bright people are taking up teaching as a profession. I have myself gone to so many selection committees where we end up not finding suitable candidates, especially for science and maths. So for that, we really need to, we have to encourage students to take up science. There is a dip in children even opting for science, for biological sciences. So there has to be strategies that the government has to adopt to encourage research, to encourage children learning sciences, studying sciences, and people opting for teaching. Because I don't think we have many perks to this profession. And even though we think that it's a half-day's job, I don't think. There is a lot that goes into teaching nowadays. And after CCE, implementation of CCE, there are n number of records that a teacher has to maintain. So there is a lot of written work that is involved in a teacher's day-to-day work that has been added, and not like a burden. A teacher may be enjoying, especially the one who has taken teaching as passion, who has an aptitude for teaching, but not everybody would be, taking up teaching as a profession because she wants to be a teacher. There are very few. But then we need to do something to be able to encourage the brighter side of our generation to get into this profession of teaching. That is not happening.
Based on your past experience, do you think the performance of students has increased with CCE implementation?
Children have shown a lot of improvement. Their grades definitely have improved. and that major scare that children had, the major this thing that they had in their mind about a board examination that they had to face, and that phobia that they have that in class 10 we'll be facing a board examination is not there. So definitely from that point of view, I think they are more relaxed. That stress has kind of disappeared. Yeah.
How are teachers taking it?
Well, for teachers, as I just said and I told you, they are more on their toes now with a lot of FA activities and a lot of SA activities, more and more records to be maintained and to be in touch throughout the year. And there is a lot of clerical work that has been added, and it would really help the teachers had all this been like an online work and more digitalized, in the sense that even classroom teaching could be reduced to something what Mrs. Nirmala Shankaran was saying, something like a Hey Math program where you have a classroom teaching which doesn't involve books. So that reduces the workload of the teacher and gives more time for the teacher to spend time with the student. The interaction, time is more, and actual learning is an effective learning where the student is benefiting.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
So we wanted to know your views on the continuous comprehensive education. How do you think it's important?
I think we have to redefine education as we understand. And yes, it has to be continuous, it has to be comprehensive, and the framework, the way it's created, it still needs some vision of where we are headed. And that's where we have to begin thinking about. We don't have to build on what we had yesterday, but we have to find where we are headed and try to recreate in that direction. That's where I stand on that.
And how do you think teachers and students are taking it?
You see, teachers have begun accepting it with some reservations, but they will end up accepting it just like we accept everything else. And how do you accept it? We accept things, in the beginning we make some noises, and then as time goes along we become comfortable with it, and we use it not the way it was intended, but just the way we can. So that's how it's going to happen in this case as well. Yeah.
And how can technology further the objectives of CPE?
You see, without technology we can't achieve it. So we need absolutely the right technology which is affordable, which is comprehensive, and which ensures that children begin to connect with the meaning of education rather than just looking at school as a place where they go to pass an examination. So I think technology is an absolute must. It's in the way we use those technologies. That's how the world is going to be defined. If you begin to understand technology, that is the aspiration we should have, not just any technology. So I would say, use, just like everyone said, computers are not just something you learn for computers. You have to use computers as if they're a pen in your hand, as if they're your mind. You have to become comfortable with them. So technology is a must. You see, one laptop per child was designed for India's villages, for the underprivileged, for the people who are poor, who have no opportunity. How do we take them in 6 months to a year at the same level where the old system allows them to go in 5 years? How do we take them without spending more than 10 rupees a day, where the best schools in America take their children after $10,000 a year? So it was designed as something which is made for India's villages. It doesn't take electricity more than 1 watt. You can charge with solar, battery, anything, hand crank. It has ability to be seen under the sun as well as inside the room. Battery lasts 6 hours to 12 hours. As a hardware, it's the most unbeatable hardware in the whole world. As a software, it has every single application a child needs to grow up as an adult, from reading, writing, mathematics, physics, science, of any aspect of science, Wikipedia, so you can know anything about anything you want to know, social sciences, painting, learning, creativity. The thrust is on creativity. So what you can do is, this is one way we can meet the deficit on infrastructure and teaching front. It can help teachers learn better. It can help children learn better. It can help the parents learn better, because most children who are poor, their parents also did not get time to study. So I think it's a very comprehensive approach to education and changing India and India's villages and making 96% people in India, children in India, who do not have opportunities to become the best in the world. So that's what we are trying to do for 10 rupees a day. All that the government has to do is to make right to education meaningful But they can adopt one laptop per child program as a foundation stone of that, and then see if you can't do for everybody, start with some model schemes. But if you make model school or schools anywhere, start them on the platform like this. Navodaya school, they should have only one laptop per child as a foundation, and you see how it changes. Or if you don't believe in anything that anyone says, just make 1% or 2% children learn with this and see the difference. Because if you don't experiment, if you don't innovate, where will you be as a nation? So let's all do that. That's what I would like to say. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Continuous comprehensive evaluation is a very bold initiative of CBSE. I want to compliment CBSE for such bold initiative. But at the same time, there are certain ground level implications which I want to put across. That Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan is a very large organization with almost 1,000 schools all over India. I wish we have been involved at the stage of preparation of guidelines. Then we could have said better, and this is personally my opinion. Things would have been better, but now also this is a very good initiative, and we are doing very well as an organization implementing CCE.
How technology can further the objective of CCE?
Oh, technology has a major role to play in any of the field. Why CCE? Everywhere technology is influencing all the aspects of life. So education is also undergoing a major transformation, and technology is helping us to resolve certain problems. But at the same time, the old schools where we are short of infrastructure, there we find a little difficult installation of technology, and using of technology is very limited. And moreover, we have a mental inertia of teachers. Since some of the teachers are very old, they are not used to handle technology. So we face a lot of mental inertia from the teachers. But yes, as a Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, we have achieved its targets very successfully.
So are the trainings also being offered?
Yes, in-service trainings are there, and Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan has been successful in implementing the technology. And at the classroom level, yes, a lot of transition is going on.
What are your views on the right to education?
Oh yes, again a very good initiative by the government of India. I personally feel if you give education to all, not 100%, at least 99% problems at the social front, economic front can be resolved with education. That's a very good initiative, and I'm glad that I am at a stage where I can contribute my bit to it, and I'm for it. Thank you so much. And it was lovely talking to a KV student. Anna Prachi, God bless you. Thank you.
Well, fine. Continuation comprehensive evaluation, which is introduced recently by CBSE to all schools, is really a good platform, because through this we can get the real from our students. Normally, earlier we were following a traditional method of teaching. Now there are so many aspects and so many avenues through which we can judge our student, that at the end of year, when we prepare his anecdotal card or report card, we get a complete picture of the child. The area of interest, his likings, his dislikings, where he can be the fittest person in life, all these things. And this will definitely help child in growing and making his career ahead.
And so how are students and teachers and even parents are taking this initiative?
Yes, that is one of a very good question. In fact, students are very enthusiastic about CC, but our teachers will have to be trained in this trait, because still they are going for the traditional way of teaching. And to switch on from traditional way of teaching to this CC, continuous and comprehensive evaluation, they need little training, which of course they are getting through various workshops being conducted at school level and various organizational level. But it will take some time, and I'm sure after 2 or 3 years it will become a very effective system. It will take time.
And how can technology help in furthering the objective?
Yes, of course, technology can help a lot in making this program a success in all aspects. For example, in classroom teaching, you can use technology. In preparing the anecdotal record of students, you can use technology. In making the teachers to come to school, you can use technology. I mean, there are so many ways you can use technology in making this complete system of CC a great success.
And lastly, your views on RTE. How important?
RTE should have come at least 10 years earlier in India, because when we talk of education in real sense should be that there should be accountability, and RTE is fixing accountability that yes, we should start education right from the ground level. And this is a basic act which is providing education to all people of India, whether he is from any state of society. This is the law, or yes, in fact, law only I'll call it, which will provide opportunity to every state of India to have education. And if India is educated, then only we can flourish and dream of going to, or in real sense, in 21st century.
Thank you so much.
Fine, thank you.
First of all, we would like to know what are your views regarding implication of CC?
Regarding CC, this continuous and comprehensive evaluation gives a complete scope to the children to grow in their own way. Now they are not traumatized of the examination trauma or any this type of that this is the limiting point, this is the syllabus they have to learn. Now they have to learn at their own pace, where teacher acts as a guide or facilitator, and they are given ample opportunities to perform well. So that's very good policy. The children are they have different options. They can do well in the academics, sports, co-curricular activities, whatever talent they have. It gets they get the fullest options to perform, and teachers also get time to explore about their talents.
What is your experience as the performance of students increased the implementation of CC?
Presently, the students are taking it lightly because it's just a time, because it is implemented now. Its effects are not seen till date. So children are taking it as they have to do nothing, and it will be happen at their all, and whatever they are doing, it will be counted. So teachers have to impress upon that CCE doesn't mean that they have not to work very hard. They have to study at their own pace and first make the base of the topic, base of the concept, and then make the building on it. So they have to learn the topic in a comprehensive manner by taking their own pace. Okay, so that's the use of CC, I will say.
How are teachers taking it? Are they receptive?
They are very receptive. And now they get enough time to deal with the children of different potential, because we have heterogeneous class. And in heterogeneous class, all children are not having the same learning pace. So now teachers can give time to each individual to make them learn and to give them opportunity to learn and perform better at their own pace. अब मैं कह सकती हूँ कि बच्चे जो हैं वो टीचर जो है बच्चे को उंगली पकड़ के अपने साथ ऊपर ला सकता है, उसकी परफॉर्मेंस को इम्प्रूव कर सकता है. So enough opportunities are there. So,
What is, in your opinion, is the role of technology?
our role of technology is very, very important because it makes your lesson in more detail, fine details, and it provides whatever is to be done by hand earlier can be drawn with the help of technology, can be shown, and more time can be given to make the topic clear in depth. So this is time saving as well as visual impact will be more, and learning will be more. So digital learning plays very, very important role, and nowadays teachers are becoming learning how to use these digital equipments, and they are using it. Yes, that's the thing. Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks for this, Nandini. Ma'am, first of all, we would like to know your views on continuous comprehensive education, how it is furthering education now.
I think CCE, that is Continuous Comprehensive Evaluation, is a very good scheme because for the students to be monitored and to be observed every day, that gives a holistic picture. Earlier, like we were only evaluating them on the exams which were either 6 terms or a half yearly or annuals, but here they are under observation every day, and it's not only the academics, like the scholastic aptitude as well as the co-scholastic aptitude is also seen. So we find that the children have got lot of potential, and that potential can be easily brought out, and they can be graded on that potential, and which is very important, because earlier we were just judging them on their academics, but the co-scholastic subjects are taken care in this. Plus, when the regular monitoring is done, it is not at the end of the session that we come to know that the child has not done well in some specific area. But when we keep on observing him every day, on day-to-day basis, the improvement takes place. And that's how we can achieve better results.
Ma'am, how are teachers receptive to it, and how are students feeling the...
In fact, the children who are good at various other activities, maybe sports or painting, music, they have really appreciated it, because here they are being recognized for their talent. Earlier we were only giving recognition to the children who were good in academics, but here the talent of the child is also being brought out. So they are very happy with it, and lot of CC activities are being promoted now, because earlier maybe they were not giving so much importance, thinking that these will not lead them anywhere. But when they know that they are being graded on these activities, the mass participation has also started taking place. And I think that has resulted in better activities of the school, better environment, because the more children participate and their, energies are channelized in the right direction, so you have less discipline problems as well. So I think CC is doing a lot for the holistic personality, and I think it gives a better view also of the child and about his talents.
And how technology can further the objectives of CC in your opinion?
Technology, you see, because in this also there is lot of work to be done, and technology can make the work easier for the teachers, because like lot of record keeping has to be there in CC, since the children are being monitored on daily basis on various competencies. So if all this is planned well and the record keeping is done well by the use of technology, this can be easily done, and the workload also of the teachers can be reduced through technology.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
स्टाफ ने तो सब सीखा है कंप्यूटर, लेकिन
करिकुलम
हमने सीखा नहीं।
एक्टिविटीज जो कंटिन्यूअस चल रहा है, मतलब पहले एंड ऑफ द ईयर एग्जाम होता था, कंटिन्यूअस परफॉर्मेंस, अभी जो स्कीम आई है सीसी।
हाँ, तो उसमें यही होता है, आफ्टर 3 मंथ्स एक एग्जाम होता है, आफ्टर 3 मंथ्स फिर दूसरा होता है, आफ्टर 3 मंथ्स तीसरा, तो इसलिए 3 एग्जाम होते हैं।
एंड आरटीई के बारे में आपका क्या ओपिनियन है, राइट टू एजुकेशन?
हाँ, तो वो सरकार ने एक अच्छा ऑप्शन दिया है, जिससे कि गरीब बच्चे भी स्कूल में आ सकें, जो नहीं आ रहे उनको भी एजुकेशन मिल सके। कम से कम वो अपने लायक तो कुछ कर लें, गिनना आ जाए, पैसे गिनना आ जाए, बसों में चढ़ना आ जाए, रेल में चढ़ना आ जाए, इतना तो वो कम से कम सीख लें। तो इसलिए ये तो बच्चों के लिए सरकार ने एक अच्छी योजना दी है।
टेक्नोलॉजी किस तरह से इसमें मदद कर सकता है सरकार को?
अब टेक्नोलॉजी तो मदद कर ही सकता है, क्योंकि पिक्चर के जरिए बच्चे ज़्यादा आकर्षित होते हैं। अब पिक्चर देख के वो जल्दी सीखेंगे, उनका मनोरंजन भी होगा और मनोरंजन में सीख भी लेंगे। तो टेक्नोलॉजी में पिक्चर के द्वारा, अकाउंटिंग के द्वारा, किसी के भी द्वारा उनकी नॉलेज बढ़ा सकते हैं। ओके। टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में बच्चा देख के बहुत जल्दी कैच करता है और जल्दी सीख जाता है। इससे गरीब बच्चों का बहुत ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होता है, और गरीब बच्चे, विकलांग बच्चे सभी को हम स्कूल में लाने की कोशिश करते हैं राइट एजुकेशन के तहत। तो ये बहुत अच्छी योजना है, इसके द्वारा बच्चे आगे बढ़ सकते हैं, पढ़ लिख कर अपना हिसाब किताब भी कर सकते हैं, और अपने दैनिक चर्या या व्यवहार कौशल भी बन सकते हैं, उनकी मानसिक वृद्धि होती है, सर्वांगीण विकास होता है। और
अनुसार संसाधन का भी थोड़ा सहयोग देना चाहिए सरकार को। मतलब जैसे विद्यालयों में समय पर कोई भी चीज़ खरीदने के लिए हमें संसाधन नहीं मिल पाता है, तो वो सब व्यवस्था होना चाहिए।
कैसे टेक्नोलॉजी कैसे मदद कर सकती है सीसी में और पढ़ाई में?
टेक्नोलॉजी जैसे हम तो एमसीडी से हैं, यहाँ ज़्यादातर गरीब बच्चे हैं और उनके पास जैसे आज हम किताब कॉपी दे देते हैं, उतना अच्छे घर से नहीं है कि उसको हम वे संभाल करके भी नहीं रख सकते हैं। तो ये अगर टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग हो जाता है तो जो नोटबुक है उसको अच्छी तरह से वो हम उनको जैसे विद्यालय आ जाते हैं और उसी को हम उसको दिखा करके स्टडी करा सकते हैं।
और राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट पास हुआ है, इसके बारे में आप क्या बोलेंगे?
राइट टू एजुकेशन भी अच्छा है। जैसे कई माँ बाप सोचते हैं कि हमें तो नौकरी नहीं करना है, यानी कि हमें तो घर का ही ज़्यादातर काम करना है, इसलिए अपने बच्चों को स्कूल नहीं भेज पाते हैं और भेजना भी नहीं चाहते हैं। तो राइट टू एजुकेशन आने से ये हो जाता है कि हाँ, सभी बच्चों को शिक्षा देना अनिवार्य है, इसलिए वो अपने बच्चों को माता पिता इसको समझेंगे और विद्यालय भेजेंगे। थैंक यू।
टेक्नोलॉजी कैसे
असल में हमारे यहाँ जो है गरीब बच्चों के बच्चे आते हैं और उनके माँ बाप माँ तो बेचारी कोठियों पे काम करती हैं और बाप मजदूरी करके आते हैं, तो वो बच्चों पे ध्यान तो पूरा दे नहीं पाते। स्कूल ज़रूर भेजते हैं और कुछ अगर कोई काम हो तो उनको रोक भी लेते हैं। तो इसलिए जो जितना भी हो सकता है हम कोशिश करते हैं, उनको बुलाते हैं और टाइम टू टाइम उनको जितने भी हमारे एमसीडी प्रोवाइड करती है हम वो करते रहते हैं।
तो राइट टू एजुकेशन
हाँ जी,
बारे में आप
हाँ, सर्व शिक्षा अभियान के तहत जो है अब थोड़ा सा उनमें फ़र्क आने लगा है, क्योंकि उनको फ्री में मिड डे मील भी मिलता है और बुक्स भी मिलती हैं, वर्दी भी मिलती है, शूज़ भी मिलते हैं, सॉक्स भी मिलती हैं और हमारे ऊपर से जर्सी भी मिलती है। उनको सभी चीज़ें मिलती हैं, एमसीडी सभी प्रोवाइड करता है उनको।
कैसे टेक्नोलॉजी कैसे अब्यूज़ हो रहा है, इस्तेमाल हो रहा है स्कूल में?
हाँ, पहले से तो बेहतर है, क्योंकि पहले जो है उतने साधन नहीं होते थे, अब साधन हो गए हैं, बच्चे भी आने लगे हैं देखने से, क्योंकि अब पहले जितने बच्चे तो नहीं है, बच्चे तो अब कम हो रहे हैं क्योंकि माँ बाप पढ़े लिखे हैं, अब उतना वो नहीं करते, बच्चों के साथ भेजते हैं अपने बच्चों को।
Ladies who are learning disabled and children who are hearing handicap. So I am teaching such children in an inclusive setup. Ours is, pioneer in inclusion. So this year we have registered with CBSE for the first time for the 9th class, and we have registered 22 children. Out of these, 10 are dyslexics and 12 are hearing handicap. So while implementing CC on these children, what I feel is that CBSE has not given any guidelines specifically for these children. Like, let's take question papers for example. They have given a precise marking scheme. Like I am teaching English, so they have divided the subject into 4 sections: reading, writing, and then text and grammar. They have given a marking scheme. Now the textbooks, they have not been modified, right? And the question papers, to be said, it's been clearly written that you cannot change the marking scheme. The questions, they have not written that the questions can be adapted. So if we want to adapt these questions, like if we want to make these questions simpler or direct questions or questions from the behind the text, so can we give those questions? It still remains a query, right? Had there been any guidelines, so we would have easily followed them, right? So this is one point, like setting up of question papers. There are no setting. Yeah, that's my recommendation or a suggestion, because when the CCE was getting framed, we met the PRO at CBSE. She told us that the people who are from special field, like dealing children with special needs or special educators, they were not consulted. There are, like, if you see the examination bylaws given by CBSE, the 19 provisions which are there, it is only mentioned that extra time limit will be given to such children, or an assistant invigilator from the school will be provided, or for the visually impaired or for the blind, the questions will be in bigger letters. This is the only provision CBSE gives. Now what about autistics? What about learning disabled? What about HI? All disabilities, they have different needs. Though they have included all such children under CBSE, like these children can appear for examination. But they haven't mentioned, how the textbooks can be modified. And furthermore, the textbooks, like they have given us an option that these children can take additional subjects. They need not study maths or science, physics, chemistry, biology at 9th, 10th level. They can take additional subjects like home science, painting, IT, which are practical based subjects. Now okay, fine, we have opted for the additional subjects. Now what about the books? There are no books in the market. Even the CBSE publication division doesn't have any books. So where should we go? From what should we teach? That's a big problem. So after registering in CBSE and after opting all those subjects, books are available. Like the private publishers are publishing books on maths, Hindi, English, biology, physics, chemistry, Sanskrit, whatever. What about additional subjects? And since the government is also promoting Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, inclusion, even like abhi MCD के lectureman, he was also saying कि विकलांग बच्चों को पढ़ाना है, मंद बुद्धि बच्चों को पढ़ाना है. तो पढ़ाना है, लेकिन टेक्स्ट बुक को आपने कुछ चेंज किया? Is NCERT working on this point? Yes, NCERT consulted us that you give us your suggestions. Suggestions, like they keep on asking. Then what about the main work? वो तो कुछ नहीं हुआ ना. तो these are the implications. What I feel like when we are implementing CCE, if I have to design some activity for home science or for painting or for IT, there are no textbooks. So okay, I'll design activity on my own. Then who is going to approve that activity? Yes, it is fine. There is not even a single mention of activities and additional subjects in any of the books you pick up. Now what we are doing is, earlier we used to we used to register these children with NIOS. NIOS has a very good provision. They have books. So we are teaching the topics given by CBSE. They have given us in the curriculum book, they have just mentioned the chapters. We are taking those chapters from the open school book or any book which is available by a private publisher. Only one single book is available for home science that we have picked up. From there we are teaching them. Teachers are themselves making notes and then teaching them. It's a big difficulty. Technology, see, it all depends, on what kind of school you are in. How much the school is putting in effort to, upgrade your infrastructure. As a teacher, I cannot say to the principal that you put up smart classroom in my class so that I can teach them very fluently. It depends on the management part. So, yes, technology is required. It enhances better learning, and especially for these children, because we can use a multi-sensory approach for learning. That is very much essential. But it then again depends on the school part. As a teacher, yes, it is required.
एक्चुअली अभी हमने जितना सीखा है वो सिर्फ जो यहाँ पर सेमिनार है उसमें पता लगा कि कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव तो आजकल जो इतना एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी में है उस समय बच्चों को कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव टीचिंग हमेशा यूज़फुल है. हम भी अपने बच्चों को, क्योंकि हिंदी मीडियम में हम पढ़ाते हैं और बच्चों को बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम उनको ऑरली हम कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव टीचिंग दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि हमारे पास कोई करिकुलम में कोई उस तरह का सब्जेक्ट्स नहीं है, कोई उस तरह की टीचिंग नहीं है. तो जितना हम ऑरली उनको बता सकते हैं ना, कंप्यूटर्स हैं पर कंप्यूटर्स में हमारे पास कोई सिलेबस नहीं है, तो इसलिए जितना लिमिटेड होता है उतना ही हम उनको ऑरली दे सकते हैं. जितनी हमें नॉलेज है हम उतना बता पाते हैं. नेचुरली बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्पफुल है. अब आप पावर पॉइंट प्रोग्राम्स हैं वो हमने 2-3 तैयार किए हुए हैं, या हमने कुछ अपने जैसे प्रोजेक्टर्स हैं उन पे कुछ प्रोग्राम्स बनाए हुए हैं, और हमें मीना बुक्स वगैरह कुछ दी हुई हैं जो कंप्यूटर्स पे हम बच्चों को दिखाते हैं, और उससे जो मॉरल वैल्यूज़ हमने इनकलकेट करने का मतलब कोशिश की है. उसके थ्रू मॉरल वैल्यूज़ ज़्यादा है बजाय कि उसमें सब्जेक्ट या करिकुलम बेस्ड नहीं है, या मॉरल बेस्ड है, या कुछ इंग्लिश की जो लैंग्वेज है वो है, या कुछ डिफ़िकल्ट वर्ड्स हैं वो हैं, कुछ हिंदी और ग्रामर्स है, इंग्लिश और हिंदी की ग्रामर्स है, वो हम पावर पॉइंट पे, और कुछ उन्होंने जो हमें दिया हुआ है बुक्स, वो सीडीज़ वगैरह जो दिए उस पे हम उनको बच्चों को देते हैं.
आखिरी सवाल, राइट टू एजुकेशन के बारे में आप कुछ
वो बहुत इफेक्टिव है हमारे स्कूलों में, स्पेशली बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव है. बहुत सारे एनजीओज जो हैं इसमें आए हैं, उन्होंने जैसे टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया वालों और बहुत सारे एनजीओज ने हमें प्रॉमिस किया है कि हम जो रेड लाइट पे जो बच्चे भीख मांग रहे हैं, या जो बच्चे पढ़ने स्कूल में नहीं आते हैं, उनको एनकरेज करने के लिए उन्होंने बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स चलाए हैं. छुट्टियों में भी अभी हमने एक प्रोग्राम चलाया था जिसमें उन बच्चों को फ्री फूड और प्ले वे मेथड से टीचिंग करके पढ़ाया था, जिससे कि वो बच्चे जो हैं प्रॉपर स्कूल्स में अप्रैल से उनका शुरू करें. जो 2 महीने की मई जून में छुट्टियां होती हैं उनमें हमने इन बच्चों को स्कूल में लेकर आए और उनको वहाँ पर जाके प्ले वे मेथड से और उनको एक एजुकेशन का मतलब बताया, जिससे कि वो प्रॉपर स्कूल में आ सके. तो उनका उसका बहुत इफेक्ट है हमारे स्कूलों में, तो स्पेशली बहुत ज़्यादा है उनमें. Okay.
At the very primary level, this is the root for the education. Actually, the primary schools are root for the education. I want that the total books should go, and the new system, whichever MCD schools children are derived of, they are not given this opportunities at home, in the society, because they are from very poor families. Government should provide this structure. The education should be bookless and especially copyless. I want they should be given this training from the very first class till second. They can learn the computer, because we came across one incident when the child was peeping through the window to some video, this thing, and he learned all the things to how to operate, and the child can learn very quickly. If you underestimate the child, it's wrong with the children. A child can intelligent at any place and at any locality. As our chairman said that our chairman, Mr. K.C. Mehra is from MCD school. Anybody can rise to any level. So there is it's not required if the person is born in the rich family can learn the computer. Even they have got much more learning capacities, because they are more innovative to find out the ways. Plus from the person's children from the rich family, they have got resources. They are sedative on that side. दूसरे लोग होते हैं, they can try to, they always in the search of finding facilities, options कि कुछ अच्छा मिले तो जिससे कुछ अच्छा earn कर सकें, because their goal is to find something new. So this is what I want, कि from the very grass root level, government should start, not from the 8th level, from very start level, they should start this computer learning, so that they can change the scenario. Only from the primary level, if they start it, they can change it. If they change the bent of mind from the 1st to 5th class, only then the child can perform and friendly with the 6th class with the computers. So this is where I want till 5th class that there should be no book, no writing. The child should play and learn. This is the right way of education. If you want really to educate if the child have got interest, every child, there will be no dropout in the schools. Every child will try to come. There is a computer learning, because they will feel fun. Maybe the teacher is giving them the instructions. Maybe the child is not given the opportunity because of lack of facilities. Initially, they should start it and do bookless and paperless. I think so. If it happens, then there will be a big revolution in the education this thing, and I think so the reform can come from the base only, as the some principal said that if seed is there, if seed is proper seed is there, only it will bear a good fruit and bear good tree, and it will come with a good fruit, right? Okay, I'm Renu Verma.
It has been introduced in 2009 and we are using it up to an extent, but I think in around 3 years we'll be using it fully. There are certain clauses in the RT, since I've gone through the Gazette also, like the neighborhood clause is there, but there are many specifications which have not been yet properly explained. So there are a lot of queries regarding to that. So I think one should put more light on that act so that teachers are well aware of and they should use it properly. Yeah, that's it.
And how important do you think is technology in education?
Technology is very important for teaching, and it has been used earlier also, but because today times technology is very important for teaching purpose. But the main problem is, like, we are coming from the government sector, I think from the primary institution, the technology is not used up to the extent we are posing here. We are using technology, but not up to that extent. I think we should introduce more of technology in the primary school level also.
And you are aware of continuous comprehensive education?
Yeah, I am aware of the CCEP program, but that is in the directorate level. Since we are in primary school, in the MCD we don't have that CCEP system right now introduced, but I think they should introduce it. And like Dr. Mahendra Nagpal was initially there to give an interview, and we have already asked your team to convey our message to him that we also want that system in the MCT school system.
You think it is very important?
Yeah, it is important because, see, it is covering the scholastic as well as the co-scholastic aspects. But when we are concerned, we are just marking it in the report card at the end of the annual examination. But it is not more often being used properly around the year. So I want they should have some more things on that, and then CEP should be introduced properly in the MCD school system also. Because what we are doing right now, that we are taking the primary children to the 6th level, and then immediately they get exposed to this CCEP, but initially they are not aware of the process. So it should be there from the grassroots only.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So you'll ask the question first? That's going on the video recording? No. The photo shoot is... so your first question was?
On your views on comprehensive
On the CC. Well, I feel that the continuous and comprehensive evaluation is a very radical change in the way the school assesses the students, and I think that it has long been felt that too much attention was being given to scholastic and academic achievements, and it was, though we talked of holistic development, but in the real sense the assessment of the child was not holistic. It was preeminently based on academics. So in this sense, for the first time in Indian education, we have the co-scholastic areas which are being given importance, and this in fact completes the picture. So in that sense I feel that it is a good change, and it will address a lot of other issues which were not being addressed in our school systems earlier. So I think I do welcome this.
Okay, and how are teachers and children responding to this?
See, like everything new which happens, when a change comes, there is a lot of skepticism, a lot of doubts, but then slowly and gradually when you get involved and you start working on it, you accept it. In our KVs, we were already doing a lot of these things because we had our projects and assignments. So all the other areas of assessment were being looked into earlier also. But now it is in a more formally assessed way. Co-scholastic areas were being implemented, but the assessment was not so in depth as it is being done now. So I think the teachers, of course, it means a lot of work for them,
But anything new that happens requires a lot of introspection, requires a lot of thinking, lot of effort. But as I told you that we were already taking up a lot of these things in our schools. So the teachers have in fact adapted to it rather quickly. Yes.
And how technology can further the objectives of CC?
See, technology has a way of, crossing barriers. And in that sense, a child has access to information to the world which he earlier had no access. And if he can assess knowledge, if he can interact with people across the globe, his vision broadens. And I think then you truly are a global citizen. So technology has in fact removed those barriers, and in that sense it has helped.
So how it is helping in teaching and
Like I said, then you have this CCE program where you talk of, when we talk of the 21st century skills. In fact, when you talk of IT, it is when you integrate IT in your classrooms, can you actually have the children develop the 21st century skills. So in that sense, I think it is very important, and it has integrated because it has taught them communicative skills. It has given them, when you take up project-based learning, it is basically they are learning, collaborative learning is also taking place, and then you have analytical skills. So I think IT has enabled development and honing of these 21st century skills in students.
And lastly, what are your views on RT, Education Act, which has been passed?
RTE has acknowledged something which was already there in our constitution, the right of a child to be educated. Every citizen of India, every child of India has a right to be educated. And somewhere around the line, this need was being felt, but it was not being formally done. Now when it has become an act, I think a lot of more children will be included in the school systems, because every child wants education today. And I think when we are acknowledging the right, it as a right of a child, we are putting the child as the first and foremost citizen of India, who has every right to be educated and to better himself and open all those doors which were earlier not really open for him. So I think it is a good, its time has come, and in fact when we are acknowledging the role of a child who is the future of India, when we say India has emerged, India will really emerge when all the children of India get education.
And the person who is getting 90% or 100% was considered to be a successful person. But in real life, we see that if that was the academics, the concern, why children of higher education commit suicide? IIT's cases are there, All India Medical skills. So that means we are not prepared them for the challenges of life. Whereas CCE gives training for the child, not only the academic aspects of life, but all aspects of life. And the evaluation will be for the individual. Previously for our academic curriculum we are testing, but now we are testing the child for the individual growth. And that makes, and we come to know what are the strong areas of the child, what are the weak areas, and the child is provided environment to assess himself also. There is an external assessment as well as an internal assessment, where the child will also come to know what are the weak areas of the child, where he or she has to improve, where she can improve upon the talent already, innate talents. Previously we were not testing the innate talent, all forced talents were given to the child. Here the child is given chance to develop innate talents of the child, and that is evaluated. And I think child will be in a better position to have career. Instead of having doctor, engineer only, the child will know where he will be a fit and where he or she will be a misfit.
And how can technology further the role of
The technology in the sense for CC, I don't say all activities should be technology one, but there are certain aspects where child can evaluate himself. The questionnaire, the teacher can evaluate. There are different types of evaluation. One, we evaluate whether the methodology is correct. One, we evaluate as a whole. Then we evaluate the position of the child in that system. For this, ICT can, evaluation technology, this ICT can be better one, where different mode of evaluation can be done. Then of course content transmission will be easy, and also help the child also self-learning, peer group learning, and this will be helped by ICT.
And lastly, what are your views on RT?
RT is a must because every child has a right to learn, and it is our duty to provide the environment so that the child will be learning. There will not be any learning in the sense in all aspects of life. They will have learning is not only the knowledge base, the skill development, and also the child will be able to fit into the system where the child can prosper and grow.
Thank you so much.
Just want to know how technology can aid CCE. Well, if just that is the question about CCE. Personally speaking, CCE is a good idea. But practically speaking, in our Vidyalayas, in our schools, and in government schools, I really don't know how practical and how well it can be implemented. Because we have so many constraints which the public school people don't have. They are their own masters, they can do what they wish, but we work under a certain program, you know. Though Kendriya Vidyalaya is a better organization, and we have a lot of, we do have some money and stuff like that, but we have a very fixed program, a fixed timetable, a fixed schedule to follow. And that little thing, how does one implement it? Now all this talk which we were hearing about the technology, the various organizations, they're really nice. But for example, some of the KVs are 2 shifts. So a period in winter, right now, one period for a child is barely 30 minutes. So in CCE, if you want to have a role play, or you want to have a discussion, or you want to have a debate, what is 30 minutes? See, so practically, I feel it's creating problems. It is creating problems. Though innovative teachers or let me say motivated teachers do something, they do manage to adjust in that, you know, with all the constraints. But sadly, everybody is not so motivated, and everybody is not so driven to work. But otherwise, CC is definitely a good idea. For instance, yesterday we had this role play in the assembly, and we were surprised. I was pleasantly surprised to see one of the boys of 7th who is dull, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, who is not very good at studies, but he was so good in that Bhim role which he played. So it was nice to see that this is bachche mein kuch hai, which is what CC helps in doing, which normal studies will not. So, and of course technology is the mainstay of CCE, definitely. Thank you.
In your view, is the role of technology in imparting education in better learning?
Okay. See, the future is technology. It's going to be there 360 degree around our children. And we look at that, the way that we look at technology is that children who are joining us today will be retiring in 2070, so 60 years from now. And looking at the rate of change and the introduction of technology, one of our major roles is going to be, of course, we talk about personality development and all these things, but one of the major roles is going to be how they're going to use technology in their day-to-day lives, in their careers in a better way, because we have no clue of what life would look like in 2070. But at least what I can say for sure is that technology is going to be a big part. So whatever technology is given to them, whether it's today we're seeing tablets being introduced, whatever technology is being given to them, they know how to use it. They are technophiles. They'll take it to it like a duck takes to water. So we are using a lot of technologies right from the age of 2-year-old children Of course, we've always had the softwares that children use. They're used to supplement what is taught in the classroom. Because at the early learning stage, technology should not be used at a very large scale as some higher education can be done, because these children are just entering, taking the first step outside the houses when children join Shamrock. So they're 2 years of age. They're curious about the environment. So technology is one of the things that we use, but the usage gradually starts increasing as they go along the years. For example, whatever is taught, if I have to teach a concept of an apple, right, the best method would be to bring an actual apple to the class. They'll never forget this or an apple, rather than introducing it via a book. Technology will supplement it, their technology can. But where technology plays a bigger role is where the actual thing cannot be recreated in the classroom. So if I have to show them a kangaroo, I can't bring a kangaroo in the classroom. There I'm dependent on technology. So this is how we're using technology. Plus, technology allows us to create personalized learning paths as well for children. So there are a lot of tools which are coming up. There are e-blogs, innovative softwares, there are apps on the iPhone and the iPad which are coming up. So all these are being used, when we're encouraging parents to use them at home as well. So it's not because the child doesn't learn just the 3 hours he's in school. It's not that he switches off his learning button and says, okay, I'm going home. He learns 24 hours. So one of our jobs at school is also to encourage parents to also take to technology in a better manner. And especially since we have 160 schools right across the country, and they are in very, very small areas where people feel, what do I have to do with technology? We give them an example of how you use a cell phone today. Rewind 20 years back when you had to book a trunk call to make a phone call. Right, so this change is going to change, and for the betterment of the children, they should start investing in a computer, buy one of those data cards, start off with that. Then questions like, what about misuse of technology? What will children watch and all that? We say keep it in the living room. So we are very pro technology as an organization. We've always we introduced these computers in classrooms, the smart classes that are there way back in 2002. So when people had not heard of these things, the monitors used to be hung from the walls. And then what happened was children started hanging from them hanging from them. And then they suddenly they said, no, we can't hang it on the wall, we'll put it in the ground now. So we've been very, very pioneer in terms of, and being a software engineer myself, leading an education company, this is something which is a personal passion for me, that I would love to see each of our children take up technology in a better way. And I think it offers it's a very, very strong tool. No school can do without it. No child should be, it's actually criminal to the way we were taught when we would first enter a lab in class 9th and say, wow, this is a computer, and here's a part of a computer in class 9th. That's too much. That's too late. The changes have happened, but more needs to be done, I think, in this field.
Do you think RT is one major step taken by government?
Yes. There are a lot of changes happening, and it was long overdue. Changes had to be done. I mean, the current system of schooling, which was there 5 years back, was not adequate for this century. So I agree and disagree with a lot of things, but that's, of course, everyone's prerogative. But at least what I'm happy about is that change is being brought about. Status quo was very harmful. I may not agree with majority of things, or I may agree with a lot of things, but at least it's getting things to people to discuss, to evaluate, to say, okay, fine, no, this is wrong, let's improve this is not working, rather than just what earlier was happening was just trying to make incremental changes. The only name in terms of education reform, the only thing that was happening was, let's revise the curriculum, let's reduce the workload, and there would be a committee who would reduce the workload and add 4 more chapters to the curriculum. Oh, they need to be taught about this, they need to talk about metro as well, they need to let's add the concept of metro, let's add the concept of Commonwealth Games. They just kept adding information. But I think this is very radical that's happening in the RT. But of course, there are a lot of challenges that are going to be here. The biggest would be, I think, assimilation of children who come from, if they start at age 6 and they come from backgrounds where they don't have the support systems like computers and technology and the kind of conversation skills that the children from privileged backgrounds have. Now suddenly they start from 6, whereas a preschool child who starts preschooling with Shamrock starts from the age of 2. So he has a 4-year lead. So there's a financial gap. B, there's a learning difference as well, how much children learn. And children at this age are very insensitive as well. They make fun of each other. They don't realize the other child is getting hurt. They just blurt it out. So those things, I mean, how do we, sensitization of children and parents would have to be done. But I think, at the first level, it was a big step forward, what I feel. These things will be sorted out. I mean, as we go along, people will give feedback, and I think the government has been very open to these things. And it's appreciable the way all stakeholders, private companies, the government, parents, schools, all are taking to this pretty positively, and this is what was required. It was long overdue, but of course those things which are weaknesses, shortcomings will be overcome. I'm very sure, because it concerns the lives of the whole generation that we are making, the impact on. So it's long overdue, and I think chalo ho jayega. Things will work out for the best. Thank you.
You see, CCE is a new concept that has been introduced. I think what we are today saying is that 21st century skills are very important along with academic skills. So the whole idea is that rather than just focusing on academics, what we are trying to do as part of CCE is that assess what those critical thinking skills are, what the teamwork collaborative skills are, how the child is able to communicate effectively, the presentation skills, ability to articulate that, expressing that ideas. So these are some of the things which are getting assessed as part of CCE. In addition to that, we are also seeing the values and attitudes of the child on a regular basis. It's not just like a summative sort of an assessment where it happens on a term basis or at the end of the year. On a regular basis, at a classroom level, how the child is performing and what is the behavioral change which is expected, whether in terms of discipline, in terms of values, in terms of mannerisms, so on and so forth. How it is, it's a very tricky area. How subjectively a teacher assesses and how objectively it gets reported, all those things needs to be resolved. So my take is that yes, it's a good thing, but then implementation is going to be really tricky. How you are going to objectively assess the subjective areas. That's the key thing here. For me, marks is one thing, but on a regular basis, how all those other things are going to be captured. So this is as far as CC is concerned. We need to have regular workshops. We need to empower the teachers as to how they are going to do this. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to, you can't see the results very quickly. We are going to get into a lot of controversies. So periodic workshops, essentials, refreshers, so on and so forth needs to be done. And reflections have to be provided. Feedback needs to be actually sent to the teachers, heads and others, so that this is the sort of thing which are expected from the teacher. Because one of the gap is that nobody assesses teachers' performance. Even suppose if I am a teacher, I am trying to deliver something, let's say on a physics lesson, nobody gives me feedback as to how I have delivered. I just do it based on what I think is best. But somebody needs to tell me that these are the other areas for improvement. So that is one thing which teacher should also get as part of this, not just the child. It's a continuous and comprehensive assessment for the child, but then teacher should also be put in this. That's one. As far as RTE is concerned, see, again, there are a lot of people who are trying to create awareness. There is a forum that is getting set. What are the school guidelines? What is the sort of school monitoring committee? How the school is going to react to all these things, we have to see. So implementation is going to be the key thing. How the community at the village level, at the district level, these people are going to come together on a regular basis. What is the mechanism on the basis of which this is going to be put in place? How the follow-up actions are going to be taken? Who is going to look into this? So that is one aspect. Now as far as technology is concerned, technology can play a big role in this when we are trying to address the issue of shortage of teachers. A. B. Delivering quality training to the students or bringing good quality education to the students of rural areas. For instance, we can have video-led instructional training by bringing in experts who can deliver value and create content, and that gets actually through a video mechanism goes to far-flung areas where children can learn and understand things on their own with minimal assistance from somebody called a facilitator. They could be like para-teachers, so on and so forth. That's the big change that can happen by using technology, like distance learning sort of thing. We are trying to, the other take is that something called a hub and spoke model could be created, where a hub has all the necessary accessories and paraphernalia for creating that environment where teachers can come together and share and then get trained and then go back and deliver lessons at the last village or last mile level. Because one of the areas which comes under criticism is the last mile connectivity. Whether it is in telecom, whether it is in education, we have to address that, providing and seeing that we are closing the implementation gap. These are the two things which needs to be addressed, because putting on paper is very simple, but seeing it actually getting delivered on the ground level is a very, very challenging and daunting task. These are my take on RT.
What I was saying was it's really exciting to be in education, because everywhere you travel in the world, all the governments are going through a fundamental rethink about what they need to do to the education system to stay competitive. And when it comes to maths and sciences, a lot of countries realize that for economic prosperity itself, they need to attract more and more people into the areas of maths and sciences. Because unless you have a strong foundation and people pursuing higher education in maths and going on to study further maths, you're not going to be able to keep pace with this technology revolution, which is really the backbone of it is math and science, knowledge of that. So that's what I want to share about our experiences. And when it comes to the Right to Education Act, it is no doubt a landmark act. It's a real milestone in our country's development. The challenges are not trivial. I think the building of the teaching capacity and training of the existing teachers who are in the field but do not yet have the strength of the content domain, strength of the pedagogical approaches, particularly what's relevant in today's world. I think the biggest challenge would be to build the teaching capacity, to make available the highest quality teaching resources available to these teachers and disseminated far and wide in the country. So how do we use technology, television, low-cost internet? How do we use, say, Kendriya Vidyalayas, which are clusters of excellence within the government system? How do we use them as hubs to become the center of excellence for a bunch of, hundreds of schools, government schools which are around them, and be able to become that teacher training center? How do we use EduSat? I think we have some extremely good building blocks in the country. What we need to do now is to get into a very meaningful public-private partnerships. So, for example, if you look at math and science, I would say that, we really, at Heymath, for the last 10 years, we've done an enormous amount of research in how best to use technology, how to bring in the best teaching practices. Now, why reinvent the wheel? We've got this wealth of knowledge into a curriculum which works for CBSE, which works for state boards. Now, the challenge would be to how do we distribute this? How do we take it to the remotest parts of India? What delivery channels do we use? How do you, leverage EduSat? These would be the challenges. And I think we should also learn from some experiences in Latin America. I believe in places like Mexico and Chile, there have been a lot of progress in taking their own Right to Education Act to the masses, particularly in training teachers. So I think we need to look at how they've used TV as a medium, how they've used low-cost internet bandwidth, and replicate some of those good practices in our country. The other thing which would be music to our ears is if we can try and replicate a process like the Teach for America program. There is a program called Teach for America. I know we have something here in India called Teach for India. But in Teach for America, what's unique about it is that actually the best performing best performing college grads are, lured into the profession of teaching. When I say lured, I don't mean monetarily, but by the kind of social impact and experiences that you can have when you teach in underprivileged areas and more challenging areas. That kind of experience the corporate sector cannot give you. And so in a program like Teach for America or Teach First in the UK, they have the best graduates taking 2 years off before they join the corporate sector, and they teach in the most challenging environments. How can again we form up behind CCE is commendable. The reason I say that is I think this is an opportunity now for us to actually really raise our standards in India and to truly be able to benchmark with global standards. There are, of course, a lot of complaints that one hears from teachers as to how do you implement CCE and how do you track the students' scores across so many different dimensions. And I think the administrative load of it is what I keep hearing. But I don't think that should be insurmountable when you look at technology playing a role in taking away some of that load. For example, when it comes to mathematics, some of the schools that use our program have started using HeyMath very, very directly for CCE. So in all the formative assessments that in mathematics that happens, both in the classroom when the teacher is unfolding a particular concept in the class and is using interactive questioning style which is inbuilt into the lesson, or a team-based quiz, and following that up with multiple choice questions, all from a database, an online database of questions. I think that is when the true power of CCE comes into play. Because now not only the teacher has had access to technology, but also does not have the chore of keeping track of how well the child did and what they didn't understand and how do they have data to do the timely intervention. So I think if we can take away a bit of the administrative load of the teacher through technology and also provide the right content to be able to do the formative assessment, do the summative and diagnostic assessment, then I think the real philosophy of the CCE will actually be fully realized. So I think CCE is good. Some of the very good private schools in this country have already been following a process like CCE for some time. But the way it's been articulated by the CBSE, I think is very good. And it's a matter of a couple of years when the teachers would have been trained in realizing that there is a lot of merit in knowing a child's evaluating the children's understanding of something, so that they would have the right data to be able to intervene and remediate. Those are really my views. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
What are the implications of CCE?
Okay. Actually, CCE is a very good step that CBSE has taken. You know that the entire country has been reeling under the burden of exams and textbook-based, studies and all. And it was high time we got the children out of stresses that were caused by the one-time test. And we are all aware that we need to bring a change in the system wherein the children get more involved in the entire learning process. So far, if we look at the one time, the 3-hour sit-down exam, it makes or mars students' careers. But with CCE, if implemented in the right spirit, and that I'm sure is like everybody understands is very, very important, it's going to make a lot of difference. The children have to get out of stress, they have to get out of worries, they have to be engaged in learning throughout the learning period. So the evaluation of the students begins from day one when the child enters the class, and it's a constant process. Okay.
So how technology can aid CCE?
Yeah, technology can play a very big role, and by technology we should not just think that the children have to always make only PowerPoint presentations and all. There is so much reading that the children can do. There are presentations they can do. They can go to the internet and search for information. Now when we ask students to write test papers, we are encouraging them to only mug up things and write the answers, and it's more of learning in spurts and then just bringing out whatever you have learnt. Now if the teachers and the schools have to integrate technology with learning, then they must use technology as a part of the learning throughout the year. As I've said from the beginning, if you start teaching and assessing at the same time,
A lot of assessments can be on technology-based learning that they have done. If they go on to the different sites, they read about them, if they can have group discussions, group presentations, PowerPoints they can make, and so many other things, then it's going to be a different thing altogether. So technology can be very well integrated. But the fear of technology should not be there, and the pressures should not be there. There is another aspect that we can look at. Till now, when the children were writing only tests, every child was treated in the same manner. And if the child had great interest in creating things on the net, he could not display that talent. If the child had the ability to speak very well, his speaking skills were very good, then too he could not display it. But in CC, there is provision for this kind of assessment also. In the practicals, in social sciences, in mathematics, and even in the languages, a lot of technology can be integrated into the learning and the assessment.
Ma'am, how are the students and teachers taking the CC?
Okay, that's a good question. To me, the parents also are very important. Though you have not mentioned them, but these three are the most important stakeholders. Students are very excited because, at the beginning they were told no tests, no exams. So they were very, no tests and all. Teachers started worrying. If no tests, how will my students study, right? And teachers and the parents, they both started thinking that, if you have CC all the year round, what kind of learning will happen if there are no exams and things like that. Now coming to the individuals, let me tell you that the teachers are the ones who at the moment are the most confused and worried, because a lot of stress is on continuous and comprehensive evaluation, which they need to understand very clearly, and for that they need to be trained. We should not expect that overnight the teachers, will understand how to implement it. So the biggest problem right now, as I see it, is with the teachers. They want to know how to do the formative assessments. They want to know how to integrate all the assessments and to give them a valid grade and be able to satisfy the children and the parents, right? With regard to the children, for them, as you must have read in the newspapers also, it's becoming a bit of a burden when teachers start having, in the name of CC, tests every day. So, they're having, every day they're told, you do this project and come, I'll give you a written test, I'll give you a listening test, I'll give you a speaking test, you'll have your projects, you'll have this. And what happens is that the children feel overburdened, and the parents also feel that even though CBSE has said that we are freeing them from exams and tests, but in actual fact they are getting a little more burden. So the clear understanding of things, if everybody has, then it's going to be much better. And I'm sure we should wait and watch and see that things go in the right perspective. With regard to parents, now parents also are quite a bit worried, because firstly, if they don't see the children studying too hard for their exams, then they start thinking that, the kind of atmosphere that used to be there for the tests and exams is not there. Secondly, they feel stressed when at the last minute, every day your teacher starts saying, you have to do a project in this, you have to do a project in this. And actually the projects are not supposed to be done in this way. Projects are supposed to be done by the children in the class under the supervision of the teacher. Not that they should be told just a day in advance or even a week in advance, go home and do this project and come. That's not the spirit of CC. So parents are also quite worried because they want to see their children progressing in the right way. Another worry that the parents have is, if up to 10 they don't have the stress of exams, how will they fare in 11th and 12th? So these are the issues that need to be addressed. Right?
Lastly, ma'am, what is your view on RT,
On?
the right to education?
The right to education, I am fully for it. It's a dream for all of us. Why for me, for you, for everybody in this country, to see every child go to school. And remember, the right to education doesn't mean that the child only goes to the school. The child must get quality education. the child has a right to get the kind of education that a child maybe in a DPS or a Kendriya Vidyalaya or any other, elitist school gets. That's right to education. And we have to see this through.
Thank you so much. So first of all, we wanted to know your views on continuous comprehensive education. What are its implications?
I think continuous and comprehensive evaluation, the whole scheme that CBSE has come out with, is a unique concept, and it's a step forward in improving our education system. And I think it encompasses a very wide range of topics in education. So it's not just about assessment or evaluation. It's probably, in principle, it's about changing the whole system of education.
So, more than your view, how happy are the students or teachers or parents, or are they looking at it as a burden?
So I think there are many reactions to CCE all over whatever I've experienced. There are all sorts of reactions. You have people who are happy about it. You have people who don't understand it. There is a lot of confusion as to how to go about it. For many people, it's actually something that has come from the top. It's been thrust upon them, so they don't have any choice, and they have to go with it no matter what. Now, being in that situation, as I said, there are people who are confused, who find that it's a good concept and we should take it further. People feel that there are some adjustments that need to be made. So on the whole, yeah, it's a confused state of affairs right now, because not many people are also aware of what is really needed. So as one colleague of mine puts it, she calls it child-centered education instead of continuous and comprehensive evaluation, because the focus is changing from knowledge transfer or from examination to actually the child and enabling the child to learn. Now you have to focus not just on particular subjects, but you also want to, the whole idea of evaluating children on their life skills or other such scholastic areas is that you give them importance, that they matter. So, you really have to change your whole style of education. It's a big change, and I think it will be a gradual process how it gets implemented in the classroom, and for it to be really understood in detail by every teacher in every class in every school.
Even your Sagar Ratna, you have also come up with a solution for CCA.
Yeah. So I think part of the task of CCE is to assess or evaluate students continuously, especially in all these areas. So in the scholastic areas, you need to test them. You have multiple choice questions, you have frequent class tests, and you're constantly evaluating and getting feedback so you can adjust your teaching according to the needs of the class. And then you have the summative tests at the end of the terms. And the solution that we've come out with is called Dashboard, and that really aids in this kind of assessment. It reduces the burden of the teacher in setting tests frequently, multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions, if you look at it, it's actually, they're like 1 mark questions or very small questions, but setting each and every question requires giving it thought. It really takes time on the part of the teacher. Whether you're setting a 10-mark question or whether you're setting a 1-mark question, the time a teacher will need will probably remain the same. So if you have to do that frequently, then you're doing a lot of work. And plus, if you have to do the evaluation, the checking by hand and paper, it'll take time, and the teacher really won't have a lot of time to focus on other creative things in the classroom. And so this product Dashboard is basically computer-based testing within the school. A lot of the things that we've seen so far are some practice tests that students do at home to learn. But this is something within the school that is part of their formal assessment that count in the final grades a student gets at the end of the year, at the end of the term. And also it helps with the record keeping. So it not just does the assessment, it also maintains the records. You have to keep records of so many parameters in the CC framework. It helps in that, collate everything, put it all together. and it goes a step beyond. It even helps teachers in identifying weak areas of each student, weak areas of the class as a whole. You have these learning areas called knowledge, understanding, application, skill. So questions are classified according to those. So you can, at the end of the test, the student, even the parent, reports are sent to the parent for every test also. So students, parents and teachers, everybody knows that, okay, these are the weak areas, these are the strong areas, these are where we need to work on. So it helps identify weak areas. Questions are also categorized as easy, average, difficult, and you get much more information as to how the class is doing.
So is it already deployed by some schools?
Yeah, it has been deployed in some schools and they have positive feedback for it. Yeah.
Lastly, we wanted to know your views on RTE.
On?
Right to education.
What exactly would you like to know on RTE?
Are you happy with it? What are the complications associated with right to education?
See, in principle, right to education is a very good concept. I mean, in a country like ours where education is not easily accessible, I wouldn't say that people don't want to educate their children, but quality education is not easily available everywhere. And I think the biggest challenge of RTE will be in filling in the gaps in that. I mean, a lot of times people talk about that the poorer sections of society don't want to send their children to school, they make them child laborers, they make them work. There is a reason behind it, because they don't have good quality schools accessible to them at the, I mean, they can't pay or whatever reason they have, or it's not available in rural areas. You see, many of the government schools, they don't have enough teachers. Even these days, even private schools are facing shortages of teachers. So that is a big gap that needs to be filled in. Plus the kind of education that goes on in these institutions leaves a lot to be desired. And students, I mean, I can share a very personal experience with you that when I was in college, I was part of this NSS thing. We had to do it compulsorily, and one of the options was to go and teach some of the kids in a village, in a slum or something. So I was sitting with these class 5 students who used to go to a government school, and it was very sad to see that they're trying to learn maths, they can't understand maths or any other subject because they do not know English. They're being taught in English, but they do not know English. And they do not know English after having reached class 5. So if a medium of instruction is English, and English is being taught and they're not even doing well in English as a subject, then how can they do well in another subject? So there's so many issues in improving the quality of education that will really, I mean, this is just one instance. You need to address a lot of these issues to make sure that right to education really has an effect. In principle, of course, ideally it's very good, but the devil lies in the detail and the implementation. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Introduce myself first. Yeah? Or can I? Okay. See, my school has its own board, and it's part of Jamia University. But the syllabus we are teaching in our school is more or less same as that of CBSE, and the pattern of examination, etc., is also more or less the same. So we have also decided to introduce CCE in our school, but in phases. So we have started introducing CCE in lower classes, and we hope to continue this process till class 12. And as a principal, I think it is something very good, because it gives you a report on the overall personality of the child. The report card gives you about the academic performance as well as non-academic co-curricular activities, etc. So it's a full and complete report card, and thereby anybody who looks at the report card comes to know about not only the knowledge part of the students, but other interest and areas where the student can excel. So it's something very good, and we hope to implement fully CCE in near future. Thank you.
So, how are the parents and teachers and even students taking it?
As it is something new, whenever you introduce something new, people are a little bit apprehensive, especially the parents who think that their children will be assessed continuously throughout the year, so that will put more burden on them. But it is not the case. It will certainly reduce the pressure on students, because there will be continuous assessment, but not the paper type or written test, etc. Here the teacher will assess the student in the class just by looking at his behavior, his performance, etc. And then we will have some written test also in between, and at the end of the year he will have a final examination also. But altogether, when the performance of the child is judged, we will take into consideration the whole year performance and not only the 3 hours annual examination performance. So that way it is something very positive.
And how technology is aiding CCE's implementation?
Of course, CC puts more load on teachers, because they have to be on their toes throughout the year. They have to prepare proper assignments, proper tests, and they will have to gauge and judge the students all the time, and they have to keep more records. And in that case, we need more and more technology for the teachers to help them keep the record properly, as well as to help them in teaching the subject matter which they are supposed to teach to the students. So technology is of course something which we have to bring to our classrooms to facilitate our teachers and to help the students learn in a better way.
Thank you so much.
Need equal rights. You can also lose out on what they come with, in the sense that people are different, children are different, children from different parts of the country are different. And while the right to access to education is what we are talking about, right to education is always there. So the right to access, and in what way can we make that access easier? And once somebody accesses the system, how can they continue to be in it? Because currently the Act only talks about 8 to 14 years, right? And nobody says anything about what's going to happen after he reaches or she reaches the age of 14. So access to education should also come coupled with continuing that thing, so that you not only access the system, you also stay on to the system, and then you become a part of the system. So the right to access to education is something that we can all work towards, and we can try and see how we can convert the access into sustainable continuation. That's probably where it
And coming to your company, and
Okay.
can you tell us something about
CB.
your furniture and what is the USP of it?
The USP is basically furniture which enables the delivery of education the way it was meant to be. So rather than furniture coming in the way, furniture should see as another tool that will help the delivery of education in ways that it's not possible currently. A, it can do it by making things possible which didn't happen before, or B, by making it happen in a better way. So when you talk about flexibility, multi-use, the idea is that children in the school should get maximum space to do whatever they want, and furniture should only be there to help that become better, rather than furniture occupying so much of space physically and metaphorically that the students don't get to express themselves. So to the extent that furniture helps the system of education or helps the delivery of education, it makes a lot of sense. So what we're trying to do is to see two. One is, what is the minimal furniture that's needed to be able to teach in the way you're meant to do? And B, can furniture itself be a teaching aid? Can we teach through the use of furniture? Can we talk about sustainability? Can we talk about environmental issues through the use of furniture? While the material it's used, the way it's processed, what happens to it afterwards, so that you become more aware of things around you through the use of furniture. That's the principal aim of what we're trying to do.
So how long you've been here?
I personally have been working with schools and furniture for about 18 years. Yeah, and for the last 3 years, there's been a huge change because people are coming forward and asking for things. They're asking for changes. Also, the NCF plays a big role, the National Curriculum Framework, where the curriculum says, say a simple thing like peer review. Peer review means your classmates will review you. So, which means the furniture should lend itself to be used as for group discussions, for people getting together so that review can happen. Now, there'll be a large impact on the design of furniture, design of classroom, design of other learning spaces, based entirely on the National Curriculum Framework. So that's the next big move.
In your view, how big is the school furniture market?
It's beyond the number of zeros anyone can add, because it's absolutely huge. The number of new students who will enter school at various parts of the country is stupendous. I mean, it's a huge industry, and currently there's just small players in it. So this industry itself will have a big churning. You'll have to have much bigger players coming in.
So do you think India is yet to optimize?
Yeah, absolutely. We are nowhere close to doing it, because any of this takes some time, and while there's a churning happening in the school thing, there's a churning happening in things around it. So I guess it'll take another 5 years for things to come up to speed where you can have just the right sort of things that you need.
Could you tell what is the current trend? What is the market trend in furniture?
There's nothing. It's just moved from carpenters putting together something. See, essentially it's got to do with the nature of the way schools were set up. Initially schools were set up one class at a time. So a bunch of carpenters could make furniture, and that would be enough for the school. But today with project funding, and you set up a school in 2 years' time, and therefore there's a huge pressure on getting lots of students. So you have a very short time in which lots of students have to be taken to school. A lot of furniture is needed at one point. And this is a very small window to do it. So therefore, a mechanized solution will have to come in, pre-made solutions will have to come in. You need lots of furniture and a very short notice, and you need it in such a way that every year you can add to it without having to make major changes. So this calls for a completely different method of manufacturing and delivery.
Thank you so much.
एमसीडी के स्कूलों के अंदर सर्व शिक्षा अभियान के निमित्त राइट टू एजुकेशन का जो एक्ट लागू होने जा रहा है, उसमें काफ़ी हद तक हमने एक सर्वे किया है, जिसमें हमारे को लगभग 10,000 टीचरों की आवश्यकता है। उसमें हमें कोई ट्रेंड भी टीचर करने पड़ेंगे, क्योंकि विकलांग बच्चों को, मंद बुद्धि के बच्चों को, और जो लोग पढ़ नहीं पाते किसी कारण से, उनको एजुकेशन देने की जो बात है। हालांकि उसके लिए साधनों की हमारे पास इस समय 1746 स्कूल है, और उसमें 22,000 लगभग टीचर हैं और 10 लाख बच्चे पढ़ते हैं। इतने बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशन को चलाने के साथ जब 8वीं तक के बच्चों को करना पड़ेगा स्कूलों के अंदर, तो उसके लिए हमें टीचरों की भी जरूरत पड़ेगी। 10,000 टीचर हमें चाहिए। उसके लिए फिर हमें लगभग 1600 करोड़ बजट चाहिए, क्योंकि नई बिल्डिंग भी बनाई जाएंगी। फिर उनके लिए हमें बायोमेट्रिक को भी शुरू करना है, और वहाँ पे स्टाफ चाहिए, चौकीदार चाहिए, आया नर्स चाहिए, अनेकों प्रकार की आवश्यकताएं जरूरत पड़ेंगी। और आज दिल्ली सरकार हमें इसके लिए जो 35% देगी, और केंद्र सरकार 65% राशि मुहैया कराएगी। हमने अपने तरीके से डोर टू डोर सर्वे अब करनी है। हमें दिल्ली प्रशासन से कोई मिलेंगे, बाकी हमारे टीचर इस कार्य के लिए आगे बढ़ेंगे। जो बायोमेट्रिक की बात है, क्योंकि हमने अक्सर पाया है कि किसी स्कूल के अंदर बच्चे ज़्यादा हैं और टीचर कम है, और कहीं पे टीचर ज़्यादा और बच्चे कम है, और बहुत सारे स्कूलों में टीचर समय से नहीं आते, जिस कारण पढ़ाई पे उसका असर पड़ता है। बच्चे पढ़ नहीं पाते, क्योंकि हर टीचर चाहता है कि मेरे घर के पास स्कूल हो। मैं सबके बारे में तो नहीं कहता, लेकिन कुछ टीचर ऐसे चाहते हैं घर के पास होंगे तो हम थोड़ी देर के लिए घर चले जाएंगे, या लेट आएंगे, या जल्दी चले जाएंगे। ये एक अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा अपराध है। इस बात को ध्यान रखते हुए हमने बायोमेट्रिक को लागू करने की कोशिश की है, ताकि सुबह के टाइम पे दोपहर के समय में दोपहर जब वापस जाएंगे उस समय अपनी अटेंडेंस लगा के जाएं। इसका लाभ ये बढ़ेगा कि जो बच्चे भी नहीं आते वो भी बच्चे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आएंगे, क्योंकि टीचर की नज़र में रहता है कि कल अगर क्लास के अंदर 35 बच्चे थे और आने वाले दिनों के अंदर जो है उसकी संख्या बढ़ी है या कम हुई है, क्योंकि जब तक गार्डियन नहीं होंगे तब तक माँ बाप पर असर नहीं पड़ता, और टीचर स्कूल में नहीं होंगे तो बच्चे सही प्रकार से पढ़ नहीं पाएंगे। ये एक हमारा प्रयास है। वो टीचर की फैसिलिटी के लिए भी हमने सोच बनाई है, क्योंकि आने वाले दिनों के अंदर फिर ड्यूटी उनकी 5 घंटे ना होकर 7.5 से 8 घंटे तक रहेगी। और क्योंकि अब जब 8वीं तक स्कूल करने हैं तो जब साधन भी मुहैया कराए जाएंगे, उसके साथ साथ टीचरों की संख्या भी बढ़ेगी और भी स्टाफ भी जो बढ़ेगा, इन सब बातों को पूरी सीरियसली लिया जा रहा है। और मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले समय के अंदर हमारे देश के अंदर एजुकेशन के मामले में बहुत आगे बढ़ेंगे और मेरा पूरा विश्वास है कि इसके अंदर हम कामयाब होंगे मिलजुल कर।
टेक्नोलॉजी इंड्यूस्ड लर्निंग जो है, एमसीडी स्कूल्स में बच्चे कैसे ले रहे हैं इसको?
हाँ,
अच्छी तरह से, या उनको लगता है कि ये
ऐसा है कि अभी तक तो थोड़ा सा जो मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ, पब्लिक स्कूल की तुलना अगर हम इन स्कूलों से कही जाए तो उसमें बड़ा अंतर है, क्योंकि पब्लिक स्कूलों के बच्चे पेरेंट्स बहुत बड़ा ध्यान देते हैं माँ बाप को बच्चों को पढ़ाने के लिए, उनकी ट्यूशन लगाना, उनको बच्चे समय समय पर टीचर जो बात कहे उनके मनोबल को बढ़ाना, उनकी डिमांड को पूरा करना। लेकिन जब गरीबी का बच्चा या एमसीडी में मध्यम वर्ग के जो बच्चे पढ़ने वाले लोग हैं उनके पास वैसे साधन नहीं होते, हालांकि हम अपनी तरफ से उनको पूरे साधन मुहैया कराते हैं। मिड डे मील फ्री है और उनको वर्दी फ्री मिलती है, किताबें फ्री मिलती हैं, कापियाँ फ्री मिलती हैं और उन्हें स्वेटर फ्री मिलता है, शूज़ फ्री मिलता है, जराबें फ्री मिलती हैं, मेडिकल हेल्थ चेकअप फ्री है। ये सारी सुविधाएं देने के बावजूद भी जो घर में एक वातावरण मिलना चाहिए या स्कूल में वैसा वातावरण मिलना चाहिए वो नहीं मिल पाता। इसकी हमारी अब कोशिश चल रही है कि उनको कंप्यूटर, क्योंकि पिछले दिनों के अंदर हमारे सारे स्कूल जो हैं चलते थे जैसे हिंदी के अंदर पढ़ाया था, अब पिछले साल 267 स्कूल 267 और इस वर्ष 249 स्कूल जो है हमने इंग्लिश माध्यम से शुरू कराए हैं और उसमें कंप्यूटर की शिक्षा भी साथ में दी जा रही है बच्चों को, क्योंकि आज जिस प्रकार से हम सब लोग कंप्यूटर युग की ओर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, आज सारा फ्यूचर जो है हमारा कंप्यूटर के साथ जुड़ता जा रहा है। तो नर्सरी पहली के बच्चे को मिले, दूसरी के बच्चे तीसरी की कक्षा मिले, लेकिन अभी उस प्रकार के साधन एमसीडी के पास नहीं है जो पब्लिक स्कूलों के पास है। तो सब शिक्षा एक तरफ निःशुल्क हो और माँ बाप का बहुत बड़ा सहयोग हो और सरकार एक बहुत बड़ी नज़र रखती हो, तो उसमें अंतर है। लेकिन ये खाई बहुत जल्दी दूर हो जाएगी, क्योंकि ये जो राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट है, अगर हमें कहीं पर भी लगेगा, हमने अपने बच्चों को 25% बच्चों को पब्लिक स्कूलों में भी भेजेंगे जहाँ पे हम खुद नहीं पढ़ा पाएंगे, तो वो अगर नाम्स को पूरा नहीं करेंगे तो हम उनकी मान्यता भी रद्द कर देंगे, क्योंकि गरीब के बच्चों को भी शिक्षा मिले। इस राइट टू एजुकेशन के अंदर ये क्लियर कन्फर्म है। और अब भी हमने जो पब्लिक स्कूल के अंदर जो हमसे 1 रुपया मीटर के हिसाब से जो जमीन ली गई है, उनमें हमें जानकारी मिली है कि गरीब के बच्चे को एडमिशन, वीकर सेक्शन के जो बच्चे हैं उनको एडमिशन नहीं मिल पाता। उनको भी जो है हमने अब सख्ती से लिया है कि स्कूलों के जाके सर्वे कीजिए। ये जो पब्लिक स्कूल अपने आप को बना के घूम रहे हैं या एमसीडी से मान्यता ली है, उनकी मान्यता को रद्द भी करना पड़े तो उनकी मान्यता को रद्द भी कर दिया जाए, क्योंकि कुछ हाई फाई स्कूल बनकर वो नियमों का पालन नहीं कर रहे, उसके खिलाफ हम सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई करने वाले हैं।
और फिर आजकल सीबीएसई की तरफ से ये सीसी वाला सिस्टम के बारे में सुना है आपने? कॉन्टिन्यूअस एंड कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इवैल्यूएशन, जहाँ पे एग्जामिनेशन नहीं होंगे और ग्रेडिंग होगा बच्चों की, जहाँ पे आपको कंटिन्यूअस इवैल्यूएशन होगा, कैसा परफॉर्मेंस है क्या।
इसमें हमारे यहाँ पे अभी ये लागू नहीं हुआ है, ऐसा नहीं है।
थैंक यू।
So with CCE, last year it was implemented in class 9. The students have now moved to class 10th. Plus some features or tenets of the CCE were also incorporated from classes 6 to 8th, which has now been mandated by the CBSE in a manual that they've brought out later. But we've already followed the principles for classes 6th onwards. We are doing a CCE. Even at the primary level, we have adopted CCE in our schools from class 3rd onwards.
How are the students taking it? How are the parents?
As a parent, as a teacher, my child is in class 10th. As a parent, as a teacher, both ways I am very satisfied with CCE. The stress on academics has lessened down. The edge is gone, but at the same time, it helps the students to learn about other aspects. They'll learn whether they're an artist or not. They'll realize the importance of other things apart from academics only, which leads to a more well-rounded individual is what I feel.
And what do you think about technology in general being introduced
it has not been introduced now. Technology was always there as a tool for learning. I joined the teaching fraternity in 1992. I have been using technology since then for teaching. Maybe for teaching or for aiding teachers. CAL in a big way has come in now. That's computer assisted learning using different aids due to developments in technology. But since 1992, I have been using technology in my school to help teachers in administrating the curriculum, administering it to students, and of course in the assessment and the evaluation. We have been doing it since then, so it's not new to us.
Great, it was wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So basically, we want you to talk about how students have taken to technology-induced learning, how teachers have taken to technology-induced learning, and how do you look at it? Is it, do you think technology actually assists learning, or technology is a threat to the teacher's role? Do you think technology is substituting the teacher's role in the schools? And also, I would want to know how you, as a person, as a teacher, has made use of
technology.
Yes, technology.
Right. I think, first of all, technology with pedagogies, they work wonders. I think the entire system is very revolutionary. It has given us one perspective, a new dimension to the entire education sector, if I call it. I think I am very fortunate to be one of the, carving the destiny of a country. And I feel as a person, because I've moved around from Assam to first abroad, South America to Assam, now to Delhi. So I think I find education in our times and the education of my children miles apart. And I think this is life all about. Learning is an ongoing process. It never ends. I guess we're just one phase. Next, and you just asked about our position being challenged. Not at all. I think teachers are teachers. Of course, our role changes. We are no longer sage on the stage, but definitely we are the ones guiding, motivating, philosopher guides. Through technology, we not only incorporate the best. See, I deal with language. We incorporate various, we've got smart boards in our school now. So what we're doing is theory, literature, all are being transformed. Rather, I'll use a stronger word, metamorphosed to a very, very, in thing of today. We are towards globalization, if I talk of. And I see technology the very first path to the success of globalization. So it's really a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise. I think we all Indians, as Obama put it, very, very latest, he said India are IT giants, and we are really proving it so. That's it.
So in your classroom, what are the technology-aided teaching?
Yeah. See what we are doing. Yeah, we are also creating our own softwares, like certain chapters like discovering truth. This is a class 11 topic. We didn't have anything. Our students, they just went to the net, surfed the net, they put in their own, the curiosity level. And what we have today is we've created our own softwares and we're using it. Our students are so comfortable with the very concept. I think literature, some boring and monotonous, they're giving way to real, interesting, and I must say more interactive. And we are making the abstract concepts very, very concrete. So we are reaching the children through and through. So it's a blessing overall.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Learn from you is how in your school you have introduced technology as a medium to impart learning. Right? And also how students have taken to it, how teachers have taken to it, yes. And also if you have introduced CCE in your school, the Continuous Comprehensive Evaluation System, where you have done away, where the idea is to do away with examination systems and to bring in a continuous evaluation process on the basis of students' performance, etc., etc. Right? So maybe you start with...
CC includes the evaluation system.
Okay.
Okay. In fact, it means comprehensive and continuous evaluation. So examinations are very much part of that. Yes, examinations are very much part of that. What we have done is, what we have called the summative evaluation is the terminal exam, half term and full term. And what they have done in the formatives is where they are evaluating the children not merely on tests, they are evaluating the children on their understanding of the subject as well. through projects and activities and educational trips, things like that. Character assessment too. And one of the reasons I'm very pleased about it is SQ, or spiritual quotient, is as important as emotional quotient and IQ. So we include all of this, whereas formative actually means formation. So from formation you go into gauging where the child is to where he has to be, and that's what your evaluation is. And then we strive towards bringing him up towards where he should be. As far as technology is concerned, Arvachan International is a smart school. Yes, we have interactive boards in every class. And we have about 3 servers, one with EduCom, which has been a wonderful experience. The innovation took place actually when I gave control to the teachers as well, not just the EduCom personnel. So there is a hardware available in the classroom which is connected to the server, not just their interactive board. So the teachers can add creative lessons, plus they can access the resource center from the classroom. Every class is connected through internet. We have also what we call the Promethean Lab from Almo, which connects the teachers to the international counterparts. So we have all the creative lesson plans from all over the world being made available to our teachers as a resource bank. Plus I have my own e-library server where I have gone around like a little squirrel getting whatever I can in terms of e-learning and putting it into the library. And we have in the cabling and interwebbing of this computerized system right through the whole school, including the staff rooms. So we also have it connected to homes, so the children can access the system, certain modules of the system, not the whole system, including your Gurukul. So I was very excited about this morning because I'm always looking like the Hey Maths girl, looking for more material for my children, always looking. And I'm excited about Hey Maths because though I have the system available to the children in the maths laboratory and the science laboratories, I would love the maths laboratory to be connected to Hey Maths. So like her, I'm taking the best of what is available, combining it and bringing it into the school. So it's exciting. It's been very, very productive because you can't compete with multimedia and concepts made real through clips that are educational. The spoken word is limited, whereas the visual impact and the ability to access through self-work and self-study for the seniors especially is fantastic. They know the whole world is there at the click of a mouse, and they're not bereft of any sort of information, though we have a resource center, traditional resource center, library. I think this is the way the world is going, and I've always believed in facilitating and making sure that the teachers and the children copy that. The teachers are facilitators for the children, seniors are facilitators for the juniors, and it goes right down. And we have what is called the school department. We don't have pre-primary, prep, and senior, and senior secondary. We have a link right from UKG right up to the top, so that gaps can be plugged. That it's like you have comprehensive continuous education. The teachers have to understand whether what they're doing is relevant for the next class too. So the school department system is very important for this, for feedback. They have a meeting once a month. And much work is uploaded and downloaded. And we have a number of modules, educational modules, e-modules, as a resource bank. And yes, the children are blossoming. They are.
Thank
you so much.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure listening to you, ma'am. It's a pleasure. You'll have to hold this, please don't mind. Otherwise, my hand will show.
Then you keep it here, yeah? What is this?
Right. So, basically, what we want you to talk on is how technology has been introduced in your school as a tool or
See, technology has been taken care of at all levels. You know, it's in the office management system, it's the computer learning and also computer aided learning. So all these three have been quite comprehensively introduced in our school, and it's for more than 10 years that we have been implementing this ICT aided, or you can say empowered education. Yes.
How do students take it?
Yeah, well, they have been kept on innovative level. Yes, there is a perceivable change among the youngsters, especially the tiny tots. They have shown their tremendous interest, and teachers alike, they have come out very well.
What do you think about the CCE?
Well, it is a very, very comprehensive in true sense, and it's very child friendly, it's holistic, and it is also futuristic, where learning by sharing, that is, and teacher's role has been now shifted from teacher to a very comprehensive learner, and I will say that it's really participative and in principle very holistic, and let's hope for the best.
Has your school introduced it?
Yeah, we have been among the first to introduce it on the very date it was expected to be introduced in all schools of India, especially the CBSE schools.
And how do students take it? I mean,
In
are they happy with it?
you will appreciate our efforts that the moment we were under the process of introducing it, so we kept informing our parents and students well in advance, so that when it is truly implemented, it was taken well by one and all, including teachers. And we first involved teachers to understand this CCE in letter and spirit, and then we had 2-3 workshops with the teachers, and then we talked to students in groups as well as in morning assembly. We kept on informing and telling them, and then on PTM days we kept parents informing that what is going to come. So this shifting from traditional evaluation to CCE was a comparatively easy process for our school, at least.
Oh, great. It was wonderful listening to you.
Yeah. Thank you, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
विद्यालय BSF कैंप छावला
BS. What do you think about CCE? Also, if it has been introduced, how students are taking it, how teachers are taking it,
Right.
that is one thing. Parents are taking it, that is one aspect. Another aspect that I want you to talk on is about technology in general. What do you think about technology being used in learning processes nowadays? Do you think it has really positive aspects, or do you think it has negative impacts as well in terms of replacing traditional learning processes?
Right. As far as CC is concerned, it is just introduced recently from this year, and our KVs, they are following it letter and spirit. The response from the teacher side, in the beginning it was they feel how to introduce it, how to check, how to give the grades. But with the training given by our department, they are now comfortable. From teacher side, there is no much complaint. The students, they have been made to understand the new concept and they are following it. But only one thing, the parents, it is very difficult to convince the parents with the new grading system. And the result of the first semester, what I should say, that was not as good as we used to have in a unit test and half-yearly examination. The very reason being, the students, they took it lightly. Still, the old system have a high influence on the mind of the student and the parents both. Usually, students, they think in this term that we will prepare for the annual examination in the month of February and March. Whereas they were by time and again they were informed through morning assembly and classroom instructions that took it like annual examination, but their mood was light. Moreover, some other co-curricular activities, sports, games, other things, they go in the beginning of the beginning months, generally in the month of August and July and September. So somehow the performance was not as was expected, but we believe from the next year it will improve upon, and in the second semester that will be concluded in the month of March, the student and teacher, they have understood it now, and the result will be quite very good. The scheme is good. It keeps the student and teacher both throughout the day, I should say, in touch with the learning and teaching process, and give ample opportunities to students to show their talent, to show their performance in one or the other area. If a student is not doing well in written examination, he can do well in CCA and other co-curricular activities and in spoken English and preparing the projects and models like that. So it is a good integrated system that has been introduced. We appreciate it.
As far as technology in general, do you use technology as
Yeah, as far as technology in education and learning process is concerned, again in Kendra Vidyalayas, this is given a due importance. In my KV also, we have we have exactly what if I say 56 computers for the students in 2 labs. We have separate computer lab for primary, separate for secondary. Students, they do take interest. The class comes to labs, and besides, to cover the whole school from third and onward, we have a system that computer teaching will be imparted to students from class third onward. And we have separate instructor for this primary classes, separate computer instructor for secondary classes. So, except class 1 and 2, whole of the school is, is being taught. All the students are being taught computer education. They are using the computers. We have the broadband connectivity of internet, and the students are making full use of it. Students, they have opened their own account also, and we have Vidyalay's own website. We have interactive board in the Vidyalaya. We have the projectors in the school, and sometimes teacher will take to the class, and in other cases the class come to the resource room where the projectors are installed and all that. So it is widely used. No.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
It was a pleasure listening.
Thank you, Mani.
Produce हुआ है CC या
हाँ हो रहा है हमारे स्कूल में हाँ
students
2006 से
2006 से है।
हाँ जी
तो students, how do students take it? Students का क्या विचार है इस पे, अगर है भी, और teachers क्या समझते हैं इसके बारे में, CC effective है या नहीं है?
वो तो ठीक ही समझते हैं कि है ठीक है टीचर्स तो, और बच्चे हमारे यहाँ तो झुग्गी झोपड़ी के गरीब बच्चे आते हैं, उन बच्चों के लिए तो ये है कि हम जितना उनको प्रेम से पढ़ाएं, जितना उनको प्रेम से दें तो वो हमारे यहाँ आएंगे। और वैसे एसएसए के थ्रू भी बहुत कुछ उनको दिया जा रहा है, निःशुल्क शिक्षा दी जा रही है, वर्दी दी जा रही और बुक्स दी जा रही हैं, मतलब सब कुछ उनको फ्री में दिया जा रहा है। और अब तो उनको ये स्कॉलरशिप भी दी जाती हैं, तो इसलिए हमारे यहाँ गरीब बच्चे
टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करते हैं?
हाँ कंप्यूटर है।
कंप्यूटर कंप्यूटर के थ्रू कैसी ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है?
कंप्यूटर में अभी तो फिलहाल जमा घटा, छोटे बच्चे हैं, खेल सिखा दिया, इस तरह की देते हैं कि उनको जमा घटा सिखाई, खेल सिखा दिया, उनको कैसे किया जाए, उसमें यूपीएस क्या चीज़ है, मतलब उसके पार्ट्स ऑफ नेम कंप्यूटर्स के ये भी बताए जाते हैं।
तो बच्चों को मजा आता है?
हाँ, आता है।
थैंक यू मैम, इट वाज वंडरफुल लिसनिंग टू यू।
थैंक्स।
First, my good wishes to all of you. I think, yes, CC has brought a right wave of change in the whole education system, because for years we've been talking of holistic education, but most probably it's today that the true sense of the word or meaning can be realized now with the introduction of CCE. For one, because we do not talk merely of theoretical knowledge being imparted. It is a whole system which brings in the child's potential to the utmost in every possible way, not merely academics, not merely in sports and games, but also something which we often tend to neglect in the education system and which is a compulsion today. It's the EQ, the emotional aspect, the values and sensibilities. If you're talking of how it's helped, what is the reaction of students and teachers, I would say it's still in the nascent stage. So therefore, it's a mixed baggage of feelings. Both in terms of teachers, we feel the pressure, and of course the students. Because it's a lot many things from where the students have to pick up marks. They have to be alert about lot many things. They have to be good at it, if not experts. And at the same time, teachers need to keep themselves as much updated, upgraded, and efficient in handling so many things. So in today's demand, the teacher is not good enough. If she is merely good in a subject, she has to be able to take the child ahead in the wholesome. So she has to be able to train up that child in the truest sense of the term, where he can have life skills, where he can face the world, its challenges, his behavioral aspects, and of course the academics, right? And if you then ask me, as you said, is it doing any good? Yes, it is. It is difficult because it's still in the early stages, but yes, this is most probably what education should have been, and it's good. It's come a bit late maybe because we've been talking of it for years on it. It's come, though it's come with all its fears and everything, but nevertheless, it's good. Talking of technology in it, it has a wonderful role to play. And since I am from DAV Shrestha VR, I'd like you to know we are the national winners of the IT award, right? So we've been fortunate to be able to introduce smart boards to our students. We've trained our teachers to a great extent. Most of them are with the basic training. Many of them are experts in it, master trainers. So yes, we are trying to give them advantage in our own possible way to make use of technology, which I think children are more comfortable with. So we cannot hold them back from that. If they have to go ahead in life, that's become a compulsion. So we teachers have to come up to it if we have to let them surge and take the extra edge. So we are doing it. And in terms of e-learning, in terms of all that you talk of making education go out of the box, yes, it is becoming so. Because, it's becoming ever so interesting, lively, and a kind of hand-on experience, because students are now making projects, presentations, they're going on researching, they're going on assigning, doing assignments and things, and moreover even interacting with teachers and others. So I think it's a wonderful change, and we are proud to be a part of this whole wave of change, and hopefully the students for the future will benefit. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. God bless.
Happened in the performance of students. That is one question, one part. And second part is, generally, what kind of technology-aided learning is happening in your school? And what you have to say about it, from the students' perspective, teachers' perspective, and also from the parents' perspective. Shall we roll?
Hello. As far as the CBSE is concerned, they have, I think, okay. As far as the CBSE is concerned, they have put on a very good effort implementing the CCE, but without knowing the repercussions of from the public. Public means from the schools and as well as from the teacher, from the student. They have not consulted, I believe, the teachers, neither the students nor the parents in such aspect. But the concept is really good in a way because it is the overall development of the students. But how and when this thing will begin, they haven't realized this. Because in a Indian school scenario, we are not talking about the international schools, we are talking about the general schools. We can say about the government school or government aided school, in which the ratio between a teacher and the student is 1:40. There, the 40 minutes periods, the teacher cannot just go on with the personality development. There, there the teacher has to teach 40 students in a one go in a 40 minutes time and has to complete the syllabus, because the CBSE has not reduced the syllabus. The syllabus is as it is, the books are as it is, there is no change in the books at all. So firstly, we must have begun with the change in our system, and then only the implementation part should come. So what is happening over here, the implementation has come first and the books and the old system is going on and on. So that leads to many problems in a school. So I will begin with the problem as a teacher. Like in my class, if I go for the project work or if I go for any activity, so in a 40 minutes period, if the one group is performing, so one group kept on performing for 40 minutes or 20 minutes, I can say two groups can perform in a day. So each group is for 10 students, and I cannot judge all the children for all the aspects regarding thinking skill, speaking skill, and many more skills are there which we have to assess. So that leads to total unrest among the students that, ma'am, why you have given A to the so-and-so person, why you have given me B. So it is very difficult on a part of a teacher to justify the grades in front of the students. So as far as as an individual teacher is concerned, yeah, she is happy because she is just a listener at the time, because she need to do less of a work. So somehow teachers are happy, but not the students. Neither their parents are happy, because they are having a habit of taking the results in a way of a marks. They are not happy with the grades at all, because they are not satisfied, especially the students who are doing very well, getting 90 or 90% and above, because their satisfaction level, we are not able to satisfy them, because they are kept on comparing from the previous result. Like my son used to get first position in a class 8th. How can he and the second position student on the same platform today? So it is very difficult for the teacher to justify on these aspects. So this is the one problem. And secondly, to maintaining the record. So CBSE has not yet clarified that what all record to be maintained and what all record to be checked, and for how long that records to be kept in the school. And third problem which we are facing, how that result will be made. So if we are going for the computerization of the result, then at the same time CBSE is enforcing their way of dealing with, because they are given the performer of their own. So it is, so many problems we are facing right now. So, in international school, the things are differently handled, because the teacher ratio and the student ratio is 1:15 or 1:20. There, throughout the day, the teacher can look at the children, and I think the teachers are teaching only 2 to 3 classes. In a big school, in an Indian scenario schools, the teachers are taking, like I am taking 10 classes in a day. So it is very difficult to handle 400 students on all the skills. So that is the main problem we are facing, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Anything else?
Great listening to you.
This right to education, I want to highlight few things. This right to education is, that means every child has a right to study. But this CCE system is given this right, but at the same time they are not given the thought that in our, poor people are also coming in this category, the CCE, and the rich people are also coming. So where the child is bringing the project from the market and the child who is doing by hand by collecting the waste material. So the things which has been brought by the market are looking more nice as compared to the things which has been collected by the student. So this is not a difference has been given, but the teacher is liking more the things which has been in a good shape and with the perfect technology and all. So that is another problem. Like EWS student who are studying in the normal schools, because they are belonging to very, very poor family, they are not able to collect the things as the rich people are getting. And this government schools, where I think the whole system has been shaken up due to this CCE. Teachers are not knowing what they need to do. The CBSE is enforcing their CCE, and their principal are not knowing how to implement it. So I think it is a total confusion is going on in government school, MCD schools, everywhere.
And part B, which you have to address, is how you have brought in technology-induced learning in your school. What are the methods? And also, what do students have to say about, how it has made an impact in the overall learning of the children? And what parents have to say about it as well.
Yes, yes. See that first of all, that's a CCE, the continuous and comprehensive evaluation. It is only a method to evaluate the children. It is to just decide the promotion. Like the examination was again the evaluation process of the children. We used to evaluate the children through the exams. But this policy which has been introduced, it has created a lot of confusion. Like people are thinking it is something else has come from the another world. Although it is only means they have not changed at all any difference in the subject content, in the curriculum or in the teaching methodology, right? It is only whatever wanting the evaluation should be different to remove the examination phobia. But what happened, the more school has taken, although this is only we are working, but we have to take all this stakeholder all together, which is a very important, the students, parents and teacher, and as well as the management also. Because we are accustomed for this system of documenting the knowledge in the notebooks and reproducing in the time of examination. And our children, they learn whenever the test or exam has been announced. They don't study before the, if the no announcement is there. And generally, the most of the schools, you will find where they have found such kind of response from the parents and the students and the teacher. And still, it's not been stopped. That still they are finding that there is a no exam, the children are stopped learning. They say there's no need to learn. Means exam was a key word for the learning. So definitely we have to bring, because there was something wrong with the chalk and talk method, and this is very important. We are bringing this kind of the digital learning in our schools also, which is very important to create the learning environment in the school. So education is for learning and not for examination. I think this message is to be conveyed. And the CCE has nothing to do with your syllabus, nothing to do with the question. Now whatever you again see, all the books, so many stalls are there also. They have given it a CCE, based on CCE, and they are giving the multiple choice question in the terms of CCE. Means they cannot avoid the examination and they cannot avoid such kind of things. So, but we have to learn, means we have to make the children so they can learn of joy of learning, and this is what especially I am doing in the school.
Right. And what about students and parents of the students? How do they take to this whole thing about we don't have traditional learning processes anymore, but
right.
The technology which is taking, what about the teachers? What kind of a role does the teacher have to play in this technology-induced learning?
Actually see that this thing has been introduced in the mid of the session. So that time again it was a lot of because all the school they have certain programs, certain planning, and suddenly something comes which says don't conduct exams, where we are totally concerned with the exams. See, your goals completely change, and it takes a lot of time. It will take. So when the confusion, it's every level. Suppose it is a more at the level of teacher, so it is going to be increased at the level of the students. And the parents, they don't know at all. Although in the CC, they say, suppose even in the first summative examination, if a child is not able to perform very well, so the school should conduct another. But school, we have general tendency, I say including myself, we just want to child afraid of the school, afraid of me. We became the ultimate commander. If I say do this and do this, even the parents come for everything. If my child doesn't take milk, and they say they will complain for everything, means it become a threat. So this whole thing, it will take a lot of time, lot of counseling and conferencing, and digitalization, it's required because we are not only preparing our children for examination. We are preparing them to learn the thing, to learn the joy of life, to learn the nature, to learn all the things which is very important for their cognitive development, to know their society and environment very well. So this is the one thing is there.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
CCE as a process, do you want to implement it in your school? Why? If you don't want to implement it in your school, why not? Right?
Right now it is not there in our schools at primary level.
Shall you roll?
Right now it is not there in our primary schools run by MCD, but it's in the government schools, and we would like it to be in the primary section also, because it will help the child to learn a lot, I think, to be compatible with the society, to be generation next. He has to learn all these things, and he has to be evaluated by the teacher as well as the community to be an important member of the society. So I think it is required. I don't know. It is a policy matter. How much time it will take, I can't say.
And what about technology-induced learning? Do you use technology in your schools for learning?
No. We have not been provided with computers. There are certain schools that have been provided with computers, but our school is not among that.
Also radio programs?
Radio programs, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind?
About science, English, language, yeah. There's time fixed. It comes and the child, they just listen to radio and then they follow it.
And the students are taking well to it?
Yeah.
So
They,
do you see a change in performance?
Yeah.
There is a change.
But problem with us is at primary level, since the students, they are coming from the economically poor sections, their parents are there from the villages, right? At any point of time, they just go to the village, take a 10 days, 20 days bunk, and then again come back. Then that lapse is there. So that I don't know how to bridge up that gap. That is required.
And also taking technology to these children and to their parents as a means of learning. How easy it is? Do you have to do homework over that?
No, it's not all that easy. Parents, they are struggling for their livelihood. So we cannot make them participate. Just 1, 2 or 5%, they may participate. Rest of they are the first generation learning. So I think it's a tough task for the primary teachers as well as for the department also.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Of networking in that space.
Right.
And how you have been impacting learning at the school level.
Right.
Yes, or education.
Education per se, in terms of the industry academia partnership, my forte started about 8 years back, and I worked very closely with the insurance sector which was opening up. I developed a digital learning solution for building the capacities which were required in the insurance sector, and developed a platform called Traversity, in which we trained about 35,000 insurance professionals in 3 years time frame. With no other technology or no other means, you could reach out to so many students across the country and build the capacities in such a short time frame. And this was by a team which is just 5-member team. So that's the kind of possibilities that are possible with this technology. Also, I have been really working on developing the capacities through the knowledge initiatives for supporting the system, because once you get into the industry, there is nobody to teach. So you need some resources which will allow you to constantly update yourself. And that's what I've been doing over the years, and I work with the government, work on e-governance solutions which really provide you that knowledge base free of cost through their knowledge network, through their communication initiatives, and to bring it down to the industry, bring it down to the people who are in the industry, all the participating stakeholders of the particular industry vertical. I worked very closely with the SMEs, won a national award for a project on Senate Knowledge Resource Network for SMEs, and I've recently last year won a international award from the Mayor of Los Angeles. Also been invited by the Italian Trade Commission and some of the other international agencies to really bring in a dialogue between SME to SME level knowledge exchange. So there are people who want to buy something from India, or there are some people who want to sell out of India. So we try to facilitate that through a knowledge network. My recent this thing in the school education system has been in terms of looking at the vocational training and the skill development activity at the ITI level. I've just taken up a engagement where we have taken under a public-private partnership mode a school in an ITI in Najafgarh in the outskirts, in the rural area of Delhi. And there what we are trying to do is to really bring in the upgradation of the courses under a government scheme which is World Bank aided, where we would be basically providing the entire technology know-how, how to really upgrade the facilities and the teacher training, etc., within the span of the next 10 years. And we've just received it last month, so we're still in the process of doing the planning stage.
It's been a month now that you are
That's right.
working
At this institute.
School level.
Yeah.
So, what is the vision? What do you
See, when I say school level, I have actually been working on the digital learning purely informal education. I have not been working on the school in terms of the physical academic school. So now this is the first initiative where we are doing work directly with an institute. Earlier my work has been more of using the technology as an enabler to reach out to the sector which is actually not really met by the traditional education system. And we worked on that through various initiatives. I think about 4 awards for some of the work that I have done in the past. But this is the first time that I'm venturing into the vocational skill building exercise, and Government of Delhi has been kind enough to really kind of give me an opportunity. So we have 5 industry members where we are all contributing towards our knowledge sharing in terms of upgrading the courses and bringing about the change in curriculum as well as the change in the way the teaching is to be imparted.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Wonderful listening to you. Technology training.
Yeah. The difference that I find in terms of the industry and the school level education is that in the school level, the children, whether it is in the rural sector or whether it is in the metropolises, the students are digital natives. They adapt the technology much faster than we are ready to teach. In fact, there are students who will teach you many more things that you are there to really teach them. So it's very easy for them to adapt to the latest technologies and use ICT into the curriculum because they are more familiar with it than they are familiar with the other classroom methods. In fact, my personal observation has been that they are more interested in learning through the ICT-enabled tools. And this, I'm not talking about the metropolitan city. I'm also talking in the rural areas. They want digital boards, and there are in the institute that I've taken up, they are insisting that they have digital boards for education, and government provides the facilities. So we are upgrading all the infrastructure for them at the moment.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you.
Students are finding it very good. There's a better scope. There's no stress on them. It has de-stressed them because more opportunities are available. It is not a one-time show. And basically it also stresses on scholastic and co-scholastic areas. So regarding the co-scholastic areas, the students are putting more efforts and especially focusing on their behavioral pattern also, change of attitude towards everything, towards the teachers, towards the property of the school. The value-based learning is gaining momentum, and introduction of ICT it has helped a lot. The students are learning and they can, it's a globalization is taking place at a very fast speed. So information is available from all sources, and our teachers are also encouraging them to use technology, and they are enjoying. Especially the senior students, they have become more dependent on technology. This is what you can feel. They are more informed, well informed, and well equipped. The teacher dependency has reduced.
So overall performance has actually gone up.
Yes, of course, it has gone up.
And what do they think about the whole evaluation process, the new grading system and not examination oriented?
I said the stress has decreased. They are free to procure knowledge, gain knowledge from all sources. And now it is, the responsibility lies more on their shoulders.
What about the parents' attitude towards this whole CCE?
Of course, the parents are still not aware of the complete system. They have learnt it through a different way, and they feel nothing is happening in the schools. Most of the parents' response is not very good.
So how do you think that a change can be brought about in parents' attitude in adopting the
See, first of all, the parents have to learn about the new system. And even I think the institutions are not well equipped. Message has gone, but right message and right training amongst the teachers has not taken place. With so many things that we have, the policies that we have, our teachers are still lagging behind in the implementation part. The students' part, they are enjoying it. They have de-stressed themselves. It's only the 10% students who are always responsible, and their response is very good.
Thank you, ma'am. It's a pleasure. Evaluation system. That's A. And secondly, we also want you to talk a little about technology-induced learning. Since it's a departure from the traditional mode of learning, how students are adapting and how parents, what the parents would have on this.
Okay, CC has been officially introduced now. I, for one, would say I've always been using this technology. I've been teaching for more than, say, 35 years. My style of teaching was always CCE. So I'm happy that now it has a formal term to it. It's only the innovative and the creative teachers, they like it, they're happy. Majority of them are very unhappy. Majority of students are upset because they're loaded with work, with projects, and a number of parents are also very upset on account of number of reasons. Those children that weren't good, they feel that their life has been spoiled as such. And the children that are good, they feel quite defeated. And only a handful appreciate this like it, because most of them, they are so used to the traditional way of teaching, they just want to be taught, right from the book. They just want to be taught right from the book, to be prepared from the examination point of view. But very few, handful you have those who enjoy this technology. On and often, I do have interviews, discussions with my children. Even this morning in class 11, I'd asked them, I said, what are your views on CCE? How do you react to class 10 exams? Each one of them is upset. They say, we don't like, we want to take the exams. And then they say it is the weak students, the poor students who are benefiting, and the good ones, we are very unhappy. And as far as teachers are concerned, again, see, CCE, if you want to do it earnestly, it's very time consuming. It does take a lot of time. It's very good. And you can even do it in no time. Close your eyes and write about the children. And if you really want to do a good job, you do have to spend a lot of time writing about each. So this is basically a good thing, but it is possible only in a limited number of children. It's not possible, it's defeating the very purpose. If you have a class of say 40, 45, it defeats the very purpose, and whether the parents, the teachers and the students, everybody is unhappy.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure listening to you.
That we have already introduced CCE, and actually, frankly speaking, we were already doing according to the CCE, but now the name has been given by the Kapil Sibal ji right now. So we have given the name also. The earlier what the teaching process we were adopting, it was the same, completely similar to CCE, but only the name was not given. So now we have given the name also, and we have introduced in our school CCE last year, and implementation is also we have done, and we have introduced from first onwards. It's not only limited to 9th and 10th class. And regarding the students are really very happy, but of course there is some like misconception also. Those who are very good, like I should say those who used to get 90 plus, so they are not looking happy as per the grading system. What the grading system, they are not feeling very satisfaction. They are not having, because it's a students as well as their parents also complain. What they feel that if my child is getting 90%, another child is getting also 99%, then what is the difference in between? So with this grading system, some parents, those who are good one, they are not happy. But yes, of course, it's a very good news, and for those who were average, and as well as I should say those who had any kind of like problem in writing or learning process, so they are very happy. It's a festival for them, I should say, because their parents are also very happy now. They know, because CCE is it gives the emphasis of the holistic development of the child. So it includes all scholastic, co-scholastic, in the complete, the same importance is given to both the activities. So I should say number of the children are not satisfied, very few number of, and maximum students are very happy. And now even CCE has made, the grading system has made their tension also lesser. Now students, they are not at all afraid of any kind of examination. They don't feel, they feel it is a sort of activity, and they have to get into that, and they are going to have a fun. They are going to win. It's not, it doesn't look like that they are going to study something.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
My school, Adharshila Global School. Adharshila in the perspective of, laying the foundation, and we intend having technology as an integral part of our curriculum. We're only 8 months old, but we intend and have already started with computer-aided learning. The teachers are making their PowerPoint presentations and their lessons on the computer, and they are taking them to the classroom. Right now we have it in one classroom because we're just 8 months old, but gradually we'll have in each classroom, we'll have a computer. So she will be integrating it with her teaching. So we will also have a blackboard. It is not that solely will depend on technology. We have created our website too, where online evaluation, the teachers will be updating and putting down the grades on the computer, so the parents can log in and see their child's performance before the PTM, so that when they come for the PTM, and we're not going to give the final result on the computer itself, because we want the parents to interact also and come for the parent-mentor meeting. We have every day, during assembly also, we are using not just the computer, but we're also using the tape recorder for listening skills. We have comprehension passages or stories narrated, and then we give multiple choice questions thereafter to improve their listening skills. So not necessarily in the teacher's tone, but it could be any other person who's recorded the story and how the children listen.
And what type of, now that you have come to this event,
yes.
anything that has attracted your attention here?
Yeah, I'm quite fascinated by the Hey Math concept, and I think I would like to bring it into my school, provided we grow soon. And when we have the numbers, I'm sure we would be able to implement such kind of interesting things where they have brought in the best practices. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I am Dr. Lalit Modak from Delhi Public School, Ghaziabad, Vasundhara. I'm here feeling blessed about the entire workshop, and as such, like, we are not new ones to the workshop. We are already associated with digital learning for the past 3 years, and it gives me immense pleasure to say that all our teachers, we are around a staff of 110, and all our teachers have laptops. They have their personal laptops with them. The school has given the funding to them, and every teacher is supposed to carry her laptop every day. Every classroom has a LCD. Daily there is a reporting of at least out of 8 periods, 4 periods are being taken as digital learning. The content for the junior school, that is from class 1 to 5, has also been digitalized. It's already on our website. We do not have books, we have only activity books. We have displayed the entire content on the digital sites. Regarding the use of technology, I can say I'm a die-hard user of technology, and the school also helps us out in giving all the kind of technology that we need. Support is there from our society. Students, if we have 3 periods, they come and complain us that 1 period has not been taken. So they are highly motivated. Our students also go in for Olympiads and Intel and all, and they have won prizes also there. So our school is really moving quite ahead in the terms of technology. Regards of CCE, junior school has already started it maybe around 5 years back. It is now that CCE has been implemented by CBSE. So our parents are already aware as to what is CCE. The senior students do feel a little dejected about it because a lot of work has to be done by them now in terms of projects. Like early morning, one of them was also mentioning that there are 5 projects to be submitted in line. That really puts off the children. But if they are planned out and well organized, I'm sure it is a learning through experience. And CC is like, I do, I learn. And that's the best part that a child can be motivated with.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure listening to you.
Teacher working in Kendra Vidyalaya number 3, Delhi Cant, and I'm using the project-based learning methodology to sensitize my children towards environmental issues, and I find it is very effective, and it is helping the children developing the 21st century skills of working in teams, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving. And the students, they are very enthusiastic, and this is going to have a long-term impact on them because this is actually applying knowledge to practical knowledge. It will be a practical knowledge for them. And my children, in this project, they took up a project on water, every drop counts. And they went around creating awareness about water conservation, checking the water joints in the school around, creating an awareness to conserve water. So it has a lifelong learning, and they have become independent learners. And here the teacher has a role of a facilitator and a guide. And teacher is also a co-learner with the children.
Great, ma'am. It was wonderful listening to you.
Great experience sharing.
I'm Prantika and I am from the Millennium School. So ICT integration in our school not only starts from a certain grade, it starts from the nursery itself. Like every classroom is armed with interactive boards, with digital contents like smart class and all. So and from the primary section from class 3rd onwards, when I say IT integration, that means the child is armed with a laptop from grade 3rd onwards, which is called a CMPC, Classmate Personal Computer, and the teaching methodology changes over there, and it's called one-on-one system, wherein the teacher has a laptop and the children also have their laptop. So it is used not only just for as a learning tool, but also as a tool which is used effectively for taking assessments, for sending home assignments, for sending different types of contents to the child. In our school, I want to mention over here that Millennium School is not just for normal children, it's an all-inclusive school. That means we have special kids also. And we feel that if we have to arm those special kids, ICT has a very special role to play, because these kids have to understand the concepts well. With their special needs, ICT plays a very important role. New things as podcast and vodcast have been introduced in the school, in which contents are being given in the form of podcast to that children, and the children carry it in their MP3 and all, and they can go through contents anytime, anywhere they want. So this has not only increased their conceptual knowledge, but also increase in confidence. They never feel very neglected in the class, because the class is full of audiovisual contents. As I mentioned earlier, that every class has a smart class there, so there's a lot of audiovisual going on in the classroom.
And for special children,
Yeah.
could you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, we have a different section called the counselor section. So any special child that comes to any class, the counselor normally counsels and informs the teacher that this child has this particular kind of special needs. So to cater to that special needs, then we find out that which will be a proper way of teaching that child. Whether the child is has some visual problem, so more of audio matter has to be given, or if the child has auditory problem, so more of visual contents have to be shown, so that the child can understand well.
It was wonderful hearing you. And also to evaluate the children. And if CCE has been introduced in your school?
Yeah.
If yes, how are the students taking it? How are the teachers taking it? How are the parents taking it? Yes, and also if it has brought about a change, positive change in the performance of children, this whole CCE system being introduced. Okay. So you'll have to hold the microphone like this. Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what should I start with? Like first.
You can start with anything. I mean, you can start with technology.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You see, we are using technology, but that is like we just have a multimedia room, and that's where the children are taken for, viewing of CDs and other such activities. Because it's, the large numbers that we have in the class. So in the classroom, it becomes very difficult. We have an overhead projector there, so, they all get to see it at the same time. And as far as CC is concerned, I think there is a mixed reaction from the students, from the teachers, and from the parents. Recently we just did a kind of interviewed the children and the parents, and we brought it out in our magazine. And that's the response we got, 50-50. Like, children are happy insofar as they, have, the burden of the thing has gone down. Studies has gone down a little. But then it's shifted to projects. Like, today Meera Balachandran at the Conclave, she said that projects should be integrated, and I think that's a very, very valid point, because you see, each teacher is giving them a project or some kind of an assignment, which makes it very difficult for them to cope, and so that's why they crib. Then apart from that, like, though it kind of the aim is holistic development. Like, we are now assessing them on various activities and trying to bring out their talent. But then, like, again, we are not really doing a fair thing there also, because the grading that we are supposed to give, we are not supposed to go below or above a certain thing. So what happens is that that's not really true assessment. It kind of, we are just following a middling kind of a path. For the parents, again, because you see here, like, not many students are, IT enabled at home, or so what they do is, then they try to get help, their parents to help them out and to, in the project work, in assignments and so on. So the parents again are cribbing, and every time there is an assessment, every day it's like either a written one, or it's a assignment, or they're being assessed on some, kind of a thing. And the teachers are cribbing the most, I would say, because it's a very burdensome process, So far, like, I think some kind of technology has to be introduced to simplify their work. They're doing a lot of paperwork. And I don't know whether we are really getting something fruitful and positive out of it. So I think that would sum up.
Technology has been introduced, but a lot of
Work
paperwork
is still being done, you know, like to an summative, formative, all those kind of, you know, and then you know what, like it requires a lot of kind of a collaboration even because between the teachers, like you see the class teacher is the one who usually best knows the student when her values or certain such attitudes have to be assessed. Subject teachers, you know, because you know how our system is, so they hardly visit the class 3 times and with a strength of 50 and so in each class. She really doesn't know the child so well. And so then again, you are limited by the time putting in together. So those are some drawbacks of the system. But I think maybe it's a move if we can just iron out the problems a little bit, these little glitches which are there. Maybe it will help the students.
Thank you, ma'am. It was great.
Yeah, Next Education India Private Limited has started 4 years back. Before we start, we have done a deep market survey and research and tried to find out what is required by the masses in India. While doing this research, what we found is most of the players that they are existed in the market, they are talking on what is the need by the schools which are available in the metros. But if you look at the actual students community, they are coming up from the rural B or C category schools. So we have come up with a very innovative, contemporary and comprehensive solution, which we call it a TeachNext solution. So it's a setup kind of box which has content from preschool till 12th standard, all subjects, and which is a plug and play model, right? We don't require a very high investment on hardware. The content is 100% aligned and mapped with NCERT and CBSE guidelines. So, and we have found out the acceptance is marvelous. So, we started our operation in last October, and till date we have more than 800 schools across country who are using our content. We have started penetrating the big schools also, where we have server client model business, which is on the roll. So,
great. Could you talk a little more about the content? What kind of content?
Right. The content is 2D and 3D. Right. It is purely mapped as per the NCERT syllabus. We have high quality 3D animations, videos, which is supported by lesson plan, and also it is CCE compliance.
All right. What do you think of CCE generally? As in, do you think you're not a school teacher or school principal?
Right.
You're not the best person to ask this, but yet, you know, do you think it is more? It's a departure from the traditional mode of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's good or?
Yeah, definitely it makes sense, because if you look at, let's say 20 years or let's say even 10 years back, like one of the speakers has spoke today, that it should not be a one chance to a one person to prove his worth, which is at the end of the year. So when we are talking of a summative or formative style of assessment, this definitely makes sense.
Even in rural areas where students are taking
So
well to
see, if you ask me that, it is more required. I think the requirement is more in rural areas, because there you can actually see how the improvement is happening there.
And how much would it cost a school to get your?
See, it's very economical. I mean, we have different slabs. Commercials, or it is actually depending on what the school is opting for, but definitely it's very cost effective.
Thank you so much, Mr. Roy.
Right, thank you.
Afternoon to all dear school principals. My name is Prashant and I represent Fitness Air. We'll just give you a very quick brief about what do we do in the school. Just like school produces academic report card, we work with the school to make fitness report card for the school. Very recently, even HRD has emphasized a lot on basically making it mandatory for schools to analyze, assess and improve the fitness parameters for each child. So what do? We come inside the school facilities. We conduct around 8 to 10 types of fitness tests on each child. We check for their speed, strength, agility, all done very scientifically by our trainers. So for each kid it takes about 20 minutes, and for the entire class it takes about 45 minutes because we have multiple sessions going on at the same time. So we come inside the school facility, we do all these tests and make a fitness report card. With this fitness report card, it tells the parents, the PT teacher and the children what kind of exercises, what kind of food and what kind of sports each child should play. And one thing which I should add is to improve anything, you have to know where do you stand first. So the assessment part of our program, where we conduct the test and give out the report card, adds a lot of value. Actually, half the battle is already won. By knowing how competitive Indian parents and children are, as they get to know whether their scores are higher or lower in the fitness, they start making jogging groups themselves. So, and to give you a very specific example of how do we basically give a recommendation, one child might be given a dietary recommendation such way that eat 2 apples in a week because you have less eye-hand coordination, and to improve it you need iron which is present in apple. So it is as detailed and specific as that. We'd love to come to the school and give you a more detailed presentation. Another part actually is basically the sports recommendation. Not every child is meant to play cricket. We basically analyze the child's fitness, his height, length, everything, and tell them what sports better suits them for their particular abilities. So my name is Prashant. You can visit fitnessair.org and contact us from over there. We'll look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
One more thing. Could you elaborate what work
Right.
and technology induced
Right.
education?
Right.
How you have been operating in that campus, and
Right.
also who all you've been interacting with, partnering with.
Right.
Yeah?
Right. Should I start? Okay. That's fine. All right. Teacher City is an organization that works for teacher empowerment programs, and we have partnered with the Army Welfare Education Society, Kendriya Vidyalaya, Navodaya Vidyalaya, and also private CBSE schools. And this program is essentially a 215 days program where we have this component of technology integrated by way of a pre-program and a post-program. So any teacher who registers for this program, they go through, as soon as they are registered, 30 days prior to the commencement of a 5-day residential program, they register online and then they do a pre-program assignment, which is web-based. And then there is a 5-day residential program, and as a follow-up to 5-day residential program, because in any teacher education program, if we do not back it up with a strong follow-up, somewhere the impact gets lost. So follow-up and the integration of what the teacher has learned during the program and its connection to classroom practices is very, very critical. So, for us, because we have worked with close to 2,800 teachers, it is very difficult for the team to go and reach to teachers on individual basis. So that is where technology has been integrated. So even for the post program, which is about 180 days interface, we have a technology interface embedded. So we have a 30 days pre-program technology interface and 180 days post-program interface. And the feedback that we have got from teachers is very, very encouraging. Although I would like to put it very honestly that till the time we have management supporting us for this, sometimes the impacts get lost, especially for the post program, which happened with many CBSE schools. But if we collaborate with managements like we did with AWS and we did with Navodayas and we did with Kendriya Vidyalayas, and there is a kind of a mandate or some regulation that all the 3 components of the program has to be taken seriously and should be done by the teacher. The
not only the response has been very, very encouraging, but there's been a very positive impact of the empowerment program.
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
This entire endeavor of teacher empowerment is supported by creating many more forums. We have a Teacher City portal, and this is supported by a newsletter for the teachers, which is Madhyam. Now, Madhyam is not a concept like teachers just contribute, but teachers manage it also. So each month we have a team of teachers who are like the editors, and they only get the contributions, edit it, and manage an issue. So that is again a forum for teachers to share, because it's very important that for everything, actually, when we talk of teacher empowerment, everything doesn't come just to training, because that's probably a misconstrued thing or over expectation from training, that for every answer we look towards training. For many things, training is not the answer. This has to be supported by providing teachers with the forums where they could showcase their innovations, because that becomes a very critical component for them to enhance their self-esteem. And you would be very happy to know that recently we organized Teachers Conference 2010, and technology had a very strong component because more than 700 teachers registered online, and the turnout was 1/3. And this particular conference also was a forum for teachers and also for the policy makers to develop a kind of conscience towards enhancing the self-esteem of the teacher. Now, why I mentioned this is because this conference had a very important and critical component of teachers presenting their research papers. So we did not have key speakers coming and teachers just participating. Teachers were the speakers, wherein the forum was created so that whatever innovations that they are practicing, they get a platform to showcase it. And then they were not shared as experiences, they were shared as research papers. And when we say research papers, teachers were mentored, and this entire mentoring process also happened online. So, and you would be happy to know more than 46 teachers presented their research papers. Our organization, when we look at teacher empowerment, the focus is essentially on the professional development by way of training. But we also have understood that that is not the only answer. So that has to be supplemented and supported by such endeavors. Like the e-newsletter Madhyam that I shared with you, and then this teachers conference. And of course, we are looking for more ideas and more forums where we could provide teachers voice to be heard. Thank you.
I'm Manju Sehgal from Teacher City, and we have recently prepared a trainer's manual for CCE. And we are looking for a kind of collaboration with CBSE to train teachers in CCE. And we feel that there is a gap in the understanding among the teaching community about CCE, what continuous is, what comprehensive is, and what is evaluation. Even the understanding of the conceptual, terms, there is a gap there. Also the implementation. How is this going to be implemented on ground across the country, in all sectors where the schools are? How exactly are the teachers going to take it to the children? So these are some of the issues that we have addressed in our manual, and we hope that very soon we will be on ground to train teachers while interacting with teachers and taking the program on ground. We feel that it will be a great learning experience for us also to know where the difficulty arises when a teacher actually begins to implement a program. So we hope that along the way, this manual will also begin to develop, new avenues of understanding between us and the board itself, because doing research and being able to put these things on paper is easier said, but actually taking it on ground is very, very challenging. And do we have a uniform understanding of continuous comprehensive evaluation? Also, which are the areas that we would be looking at? How is continuous comprehensive evaluation different than the earlier assessments done by CBSE? So where exactly are we going to take assessments? We know that there are concepts like formative assessment, summative assessment. We need to address issues of scholastic areas, co-scholastic areas. These are, terms that we use. As teachers, we overhear such terms and we use them very frequently. But how much is our understanding of these terms? And what is the importance? Exactly what is continuous comprehensive evaluation, which we call CCE? Are we going to talk about, just assessing students? How do we record this data? How do we analyze this data? How do we interpret this data? And what does this data inform ultimately? What does it inform to the learner and what does it inform to the teacher? And how do we take it forward? So ultimately we're trying to get a culture of evidence. Actually, in assessments, we have not been trained to take evidence very seriously, We can manipulate data, we can create data, but actually what is the significance of this data and how does it inform, as I said, even how does it inform curriculum developers about the kind of curriculum that we should have and what is the loop, how do we close the loop between curriculum and assessment? Because ultimately the assessment informs the curriculum. So that is the kind of issues that we have addressed and hopefully when we go on ground we'll get more clarity on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. About how you have introduced ICT induced learning, in the British school.
Yeah.
Yes. How you go about with ICTs, how students take it, right? And also, if you are involved with the CCE.
No, we are not.
You're not. So maybe you just focus on ICT induced learning and also the market that you engage with.
Market as in?
As in, come in the picture. Yeah.
I'm Deepti Sahani, and I'm the leader for ICT in the British School, the primary section. And we follow the National Curriculum for England and the QCS schemes of work. How we see ICT is that we have ICT across the curriculum. It's embedded. We don't teach it as a separate subject. We do have a ICT suite where the children come in once a week, but the curriculum per se is integrated and it is taught across the curriculum. So the skills are taught in the ICT room, and how the skills are taught is that you just take an example of maybe the water cycle. So if the children are learning about the water cycle, so they'll be drawing the water cycle in MS Paint. So they're actually integrating the lesson and the skills together. So they're working hand in hand. So ICT is not taught alone in isolation. It's taught via the subjects. So that would go right from reception up till year 6 in the primary. Yeah.
And the tools, the ICT tools that you use, and
Yeah.
where you get them from?
Yeah, we have a huge spectrum of tools that we're using. We have the interactive whiteboards. We are a center of excellence for the Promethean whiteboards. We have our own trainer on site, and that's me. So we have all the new staff is regularly trained and upgraded. We have a lot of educational related tools which are all brought from UK. So we have a proper system where we have the procurement manager who would get in touch with the curriculum leaders, and they make a proper resource list, and that's when our budget is done, and that is given to the procurement manager and they get it from the UK. Very few resources are bought. Like the computers, of course, would be brought from India, but the other things are all brought from UK.
Great. Yeah. It was great listening to you.
Okay, thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Are we ready? You can talk about ICT-induced learning.
Our school. Our school has technology-enabled classrooms. We have computers in all the classes, and we adopted the smart class system. So all the lessons Most of the lessons are digitized. We have also adopted technology, the HeyMat technology e-learning system, and for classes 3 to 10. So we also use this technology for teachers prepare their own modules and upload them on the system. Music classes are also taken with the help of technology. They download this from the net into the system, and then they use it for teaching the children.
So, could you tell more about your school in Chennai?
I'm the headmistress of Padma Shishadri Balabhavan Senior Secondary School, Chennai, and we have 3 branches. Of total of over 8,000 children and 500 staff members, and our school is led by Dr. Ms. Padma Shri Dr. Mrs. Y.G. Parathasarthi, and we just completed 50 years a couple of years ago.
Great,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm Shweta from Alliance World School. I'm taking care of admissions and all. And for right now situation for e-learning and all. Basically, we take them very joyful classroom, very joyful learning, and through various classroom interaction for the smaller young buds. We use them various technologies also, and we are more or less related to bring them a best environment in our school, and that is that.
Right. You're in Noida?
Yeah, we are in Noida.
And also, could you talk more about classroom sessions with technology? What are the technology tools that you use for imparting education, learning?
For imparting education and learning. Okay, we
what
have.
What kind of technology tools, and from where do you get these technology tools? Do you develop them on your own?
There are, skilled teachers. There are skilled, mentors for them. We have smart boards. We have a whiteboards session and all. We have a number of different interactive sessions apart from the classroom. It's not confined in only classrooms. They will go beyond that. They will go in the playground. For the n number of different, you can say, subjects and all. So it's not like that they are only restricted to the confined classroom.
Right.
So they will go beyond that. So for that, there are n number of trainings also, not only in Delhi. They will go for apart from Delhi also out of station, Bombay and all. So that is there. And the education we are providing, that is CIE, that is Cambridge International Examination. It's a world school. Alliance World School is a world school. It is a lot of extra knowledge beyond India. It is also there. So that is there. It's a global school, and the curriculum we follow, that is Cambridge International Examination. Yeah, and the teachers and trainers and mentors all are given time to time trainings and all. So that is there.
And these trainings are even teacher training are through say the web, internet, through online training.
Yeah, there are n number of web, internets, online. There are some person will come directly from UK, as well as we have arranged some special trainers for them. So that is there. Technologies we used to utilize in a perfect and better manner. That.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot. It would be great to know more about Tony Blair Faith Foundation from you.
So do you want me to introduce myself as well?
You can do that. Also introduce your organization.
Great. So can I start? Yeah. Well, I'm Simi Kher, the India coordinator of Tony Blair Faith Foundation. And Tony Blair Faith Foundation has been into existence since 2008. We have 3 programs. The schools program called Face to Faith, the university program called Faith and Globalization, and a social action program which is called Faith's Act. So right now in India we have 2 programs, Face to Faith which is the schools program, which has been running in India for last 1 year and is a hugely successful program. It's being 68 schools are part of our program, Pan India. What we do is we have a certain curriculum which we offer to the schools. We do a lot of teacher training on that. Our program is based on looking at the 21st century issues through the lenses of faith. So because Mr. Blair believes that interfaith dialogue is going to be of a great importance in the 21st century, as the political ideology was in the 20th century. So, keeping that as basis of our program, we have a curriculum which is offered to the school, and then we do teacher training workshops where we train the teachers on how to use our curriculum, which is totally based on cooperative and collaborative learning methods, and which is very, very enjoyable and very, very flexible as well for the schools. And once the school teachers are trained on the program, they go back and implement it with their students. And then we connect the students from one country to students in another country through video conferencing. So at one end, we are talking about the moral values, the faith, how faith influences us, what we are made of as a human being, what our duties are. At the other end, we are making use of the high-end technology to bring it into the schools and to bring people from different faiths and religions and cultures to talk to each other face to face. We also have an very active online community where the students can interact with each other. It's probably like a Facebook, but it's a very, very secure online community which is only offered to the teachers and students who are, implementing face to face in their schools. So you have students who've been discussing Fatima Bhutto's book when it was released from India and Pakistan. Similarly, when Mr. Blair's book was released, students from all the 15 countries that we are present were talking about it. So, and they have been discussing various issues. It's not just the faith-based issues, even helping each other out in projects, talking to each other on the online community. But formally, we bring them together through face-to-face, through video conferencing.
Great. It was wonderful listening to you, ma'am. That would be enough, I guess. I mean, you captured almost everything, how you do technology and the kind of work that you do. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Face-to-Face has been a great successful program in school. It's a very, very student-driven program. So the students enjoy doing it as much as the teachers enjoy implementing it in the school. And it's been implemented in various ways in different schools. Some schools have come out with face-to-face clubs. Some schools are implementing it as part of their life skills curriculum. Some schools are implementing as part of their moral value-based education. There are schools like the Banyan Tree, which has made it part of their CCE curriculum. They're grading students on the co-scholastic part of the CCE. Then schools like Balbharti Pitampura, which have again made it part of their CCE, but they are using it in the formative assessment. So I see a long and bright future for face-to-face in India. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ready? Yeah.
On?
Yeah, it's on.
Eschand Harcourt is a joint venture company between the leading Indian publishers Eschand, with about 70 years of market leadership in India, and Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, the largest and oldest K-12 publishers in the world. Both of us have a very strong legacy in terms of publishing, but with the changing times, with the 21st century, we felt that the educational resources need to undergo a major change, and that is how we started this company, Eschand Harcourt. And Eschand Harcourt is an integrated enterprise solution for the schools, because it not only brings a joyful learning experience for students because of multimedia resources, bringing latest instructional design and pedagogical practices into the classrooms, but also adds to a complete learning experience. No teaching is complete without an interaction, a meaningful interaction between the teachers and the students. And unless and until teachers have resources which enable them, which help them, which support them in making this learning meaningful, the initiative which anyone takes remains incomplete. So we provide a set of resources which in, say, corporate industrial language can be termed as enterprise solutions, where we give a learning portal. The content is housed on that. We provide professional development services to teachers. Again, teaching, unless and until there is an assessment in place, does not support the complete process, and that is why we also provide assessment tools which are built into the system, and which is also now in line of reforms which are taking place in country. The country is looking forward to digital intervention in the classrooms. The country is changing its evaluation and assessment practices. The country is looking at shared communities. The country is looking at sharing best practices, and we bring all that experience. Our product is destination success. I'm proud to say that we have implemented one of the largest digital learning implementations in the world in a single school, which is Indian High School in Dubai. We do about 10,000 students, 330 interactive classrooms. We have trained about 800 teachers. And on the other hand, we have gone to remote Kendriya Vidyalayas and have done this intervention, and we feel that depending upon the school and the environment, technology is a major facilitator and enabler, and it doesn't mind. And we are trying to work with the Government of India to express and explain to the Government of India that any digital intervention has to be well thought of. It has to bring economies of scales. It has to bring in the best practices which are internationally acceptable. But above all, there should be a flexibility to change it to Indian context. So we basically support a complete learning experience for schools, teachers, students, parents, and we hope that in coming years, with more and more technology getting into classrooms, these tools are found effective both by schools, teachers, and the students.
Just one final question. How much of an enthusiasm do you sense in the Indian market for digital intervention learning tools?
The Indian market as of now is, I would say, coming up of the age, and it is an initial stage because right now, if you talk about ICT in schools, there are confusions all around. People talk about computer teaching as a subject, as computer literacy. Some schools use series and they feel that that is the multimedia. Some have created audio-visual rooms. But everyone is thinking that it is required. But what is the quality, what is the pedagogy, that differentiation has not come. And I think as market leaders, it is our role and our job also to spearhead this and I would say enable and empower the schools and teachers to know what technology intervention is all about.
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Thanks.
School, Government School, DTR, Kepuram. Our school is into computer labs and children are given a lot of project work and guided teaching. But this has been a wonderful exposure for me to go and communicate to my students, a source of inspiration, to really get to know how computer and digital learning can be so very effective. I feel very honored to have been present here. Thank you.
One more question.
Sure.
We have been talking about continuous and comprehensive
Evaluation.
So what's your view about it?
Look, it has taken quite a while for teachers first of all to be familiar with the system, though it has been practiced informally over the years, but now it has to be more formalized and students are finding it quite easy to adapt, but then it will take some more time to all of us feel absolutely comfortable about it.
And to what extent we have been using ITC in your school?
No, we have not been using ITC as such. As I told you, we are just using computer labs, and we are now, we have associated ourselves with American Indian foundations. So they are giving a lot of extra digital learning and computer learning to students. And so it's an aided school. We have a lot of fund problem, and so just picking up probably another 5-10 years, you would certainly see the transformation.
So slowly we are...
Yeah, definitely. If there is going to be a paradigm change, then it's going to be definitely, it will take us a little more year, but then the beginning has been made, so we feel proud about it. Thank you. Thanks.
Silence, bhai. 2 minutes. प्रताप सवाल पूछो इधर आओ
What was the sort of initial thought process, bringing about this school segment event?
See, this event was all about bringing the school community, the principals, the teachers, the administrators, all together on a single platform to talk about the opportunity and challenges they are facing in building new generation schools in terms of ICTs, in terms of CCE, in terms of sports, in terms of fitness, in terms of all other aspects of capacity building, even budgets, administration, anything. So we conceived this school education conclave to discuss about these issues. Another highlight we thought about was to bring together government schools and private schools together. We worked really hard to bring Kendriya Vidyalaya school, Navodaya schools, and MCD schools, and various other types of government schools, all on a single platform with private schools, which are rich and even semi-aided schools. So a unique platform emerged today where all these people from different walks of life who are into the education sector came on a single platform along with solution providers in IT, in school laboratories, in fitness, even in furnitures, to talk about how they can all work in synergy to build new types of schools, new generation schools.
Sir, would you also like to elaborate on something about CCE that has been a sort of a focal point here all the day in the sessions?
The government has introduced a new way to evaluate the kids, and instead of yearly exams, then we are talking about continuous exams all over the year, administered by the teachers in the school itself. So it is in a way it is a positive step where teacher and student engagement is continuous. They are engaged all over the year, and students are not forced to study over the night of the annual exam and almost vomit on the exam day and forget about it. So in a way it's a positive development, but there are huge challenges of capacity building and parental orientation regarding CCE which still have to get addressed.
And how do you see, digital learning has been a sort of a source of, leading the deliberations over ICT in education. Now, how do you see digital learning as a team and as a publication 5 years down the line?
See, this digital learning magazine, portal, and the overall conferences, the workshops we organize, the whole agenda is to build this community around teachers, either school teachers or college teachers. The education stakeholders, the most important person is the teacher. So we want to build a community of empowered and knowledgeable, knowledge bearing, knowledge leadership type of teachers who will spearhead the ICT revolution in the next generation. And digital learning looks at becoming a platform where all these teachers can share their experiences, and we can help document those experiences, which are very important.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.